Shabbat shalom, family. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Apologize for the late start. We have extra family joining us today in the Shabbat, and you know how Hebrews are when they all get together. It's talk, talk, talk. We have a chief Hebrew that likes to lead the conversation. I'm not going to point him out, but he's smiling. He knows exactly who he is, and he has an assistant. So we give all praises to our King. Shabbat shalom to our brethren worldwide, our families down in the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, Brother Felix and family. Also, Brother King down in St. Vincent. Shabbat shalom to you, and Shabbat shalom to our brethren in the other places, St. Lucia and the other islands. Shabbat shalom to our family in South and Central America. Shabbat shalom to our family all over these United States. And Shabbat shalom, special Shabbat shalom to our sister out in Alaska. Yes, we have Hebrews everywhere. Shabbat shalom to our family over in Canada. Shabbat shalom to our family over in Germany, Deutschland. In England, London. Shabbat shalom to you. Shabbat shalom to our family over in Africa. Israel. Shabbat shalom to our family over in the east. All the way over in North Korea, South Korea, not North Korea, but South Korea. Who knows? We might have some over there too, right? Hebrews, maybe the Hebrew might be in a concentration camp over there. Shabbat shalom to our family in the chat room. Brother Doug, Shabbat shalom. Brother Obadiah, the prayer team, Shabbat shalom to you all, and thank the Most High for both of you who are holding up the banner high, the flag of Israel very high. Shabbat shalom to you all. To our family, let's see, Sister Olive, Shabbat shalom. Sister Patty, Shabbat shalom. Zephaniah. All of y'all in the chat room, Shabbat shalom. I hope everyone is doing well. And I hope everyone is in great spirits today. We are definitely, this is the last Shabbat for the old year, the last Shabbat for the old year. And we believe that tomorrow night, we will be looking for the sighting of the new moon. You can look out tonight, but more than likely you'll see it tomorrow night. Okay, you can start your rehearsal tonight, peek. Well, I don't see it. Well, you got to wait one more day. And you'll see it tomorrow night. And once you see that, Mishpachah, then you will know that the day after, the next day, is going to be the first day of the new year, the first day of the new month and the new year. Okay. And what's the first month called again? Huh? Abib. Abib. Okay. And it's customary for us to break out some champagne. All right. Customary for us to get together and, for Israel to get together and celebrate the beginning of the new year, which will more than likely fall on the heathen Monday. So normally that's not the time that you should do commercial work. If you can avoid it, but captivity forces us to do many things that that's why we had the class last night, right? Try to get out of this place. But the shekels are good in the land of captivity. And because of that, a lot of our brethren find it a little bit, got to nudge them, push them, right? There's a reason why our king decided to let us not travel the king's highway, which is a straight route right into Israel from Egypt, but he took us through the sea. So we can't decide to run back too quick, to keep us on the right path. So, yes, the new year is soon approaching. And then from there is going to be preparation for Passover. And then we have 1 full week of unleavened bread. Unleavened. No leaven must be found in your homes. None. This is where the Gentiles have the understanding of spring cleaning. They take the furniture outside and beat it with an old broom. The rugs, they beat everything. They beat everything. Even the husband is thrown outside and beaten. You got to look around to see who's agreeing with that. Uh-huh. So the tree has shaken. Now I got to look for the apples, see how far it is from the tree. So yeah, they take everything outside and they beat it and clean everything up and reach the ledges because some leaven floats and lying on top and you think it's just dust. No, that's leaven up there. You got to go up there and get that leaven out. Right? If our king or he sends an angel to come pay us a visit, Abraham didn't have to go and Eliezer, quick, hide that stuff in the back. He didn't have to do that. Everything was already done, clean, prepared. And that's how we have to be. So let us make preparation. Let's get ourselves ready. We have enough time to do so. And also, for those of you who live in the Atlanta, Georgia area, close enough, and do you want to attend the Passover, you can send me an email. We still have some room for those of you who want to come on in. That's A is an apple, GOLAB 77 at gmail.com to send me a email and we can do a proper head count again and you're welcome to come. But you're only welcome to come if you're in the right spirit. If your mind is not right, you may have to take some time and get your mind right. But you do have enough time to do so. The spirit have to be one, and we have to work on the unity of the brethren. There's too much fighting, tearing down in Israel, and we have to try our best to get ourselves united as one. So everyone is settled? We're good? All right. Again, Shabbat Shalom to a worldwide family, and I'm glad that everyone is able to join. As we close up this whole year, we leave behind the things and the struggles, but we remember the struggles so we can make improvements as we move forward. Don't make any unnecessary vows because the Most High is going to hold you to it. Don't say, well, this year I'm going to be, be careful. That's what the heathen do. Be careful. Unless you can do it, don't do it. Okay? He's going to hold you to it, and then you're going to have to pay the price. We are going to go right into a class today, so let's have a word of prayer. And we'll get right into our class because it's going to be mostly an open book study discussing the suffering of our Messiah. We're going to look at some examples of how to study the scriptures, and we'll look at some examples, and hopefully we all can learn something today. And as we build, we will learn much more as we move forward. So when I say open, that means if you have something to share, you're more than welcome. Let's do everything orderly, and so all our voices can be heard. Okay. So, Elder, let's grab the mic. And we're all going to face towards Jerusalem, which is, if you're in the north, you're going to face southeast. If you're in the south, you're going to face northeast. And if you are all over in the east, you're going to face west. Okay? So we're all facing towards Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Yahuwah, our Elohim, Father. We are so thankful again this day, Father, your blessing. We ask to remember us in the diaspora as we all come together worldwide. Your children, we all are scattered throughout the whole universe. We just want to ask you, dear Lord God, to direct us as we come before you, to present our gifts, ourselves before you into your hands. We commit ourselves, the service, and every one of us and those that is on their way coming. We ask, Father God, that thou may bring them safe. We are so thankful again for health and strength, for your love and kindness, your tender mercies to us all. We pray, dear God, on the behalf of the teaching today, we pray, dear Father, that thou may bless the reader and the teacher that is about to speak your words. We pray, dear God, I may speak to him and speak through him and speak for him, that your name will come out fluently, also the reader, that every one of us that are listening and hearing your words will take heed not only to listen to your words, but to know that we are living in difficult time that are very crucial, that we need to walk closer, that we need to repent, we need to realize that it's nothing else we can do but to turn to you with our whole heart and mind and be serious, because that the days are very evil. Be with us through the day and to the rest of the service. We thank you so much for all your blessing, because we ask it through your Son, Yeshua. And God's children say, Amen.
Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, your power, and your glory, forever and ever. Hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah. All praises to our King. We know we have some tired Hebrews among us. Had a pretty rough work week, and so Shabbat means a lot to you, more than ever. So I hope that the class is not going to wear you down, and I'm trying not to be, well, I let the Spirit of the Most High decide everything. Our topic for today is called Marred More Than Any Man. Yeshua, the suffering servant in the Torah. As we close out this year and as we prepare ourselves for the new one, let us not lose focus on who we owe it all to. You and I came into this world not by choice, but it's a selection. It's something that he decided to bring us into this world, and he has given us an opportunity to know about him, to experience creation, to experience love, and everything that comes with it. We can make a whole list to examine, why we are here. He gave us the experience to be brought up as little children, and now we're adults, many of us, and he promised that he's going to restore us again. All he asks us to do is to be faithful to him, and he's going to bring us back as children again before his presence. I know that we have been lied to. All of us have been lied to. Even the very heathen have been lied to. Satan has played a very good number in the whole world. Those heathen have been told that they are this, that, and the other, and this Bible is fiction, all kinds of stuff. But at the same time, they're always peek into the book and build technologies in defense of the things that is to come. Meteors, floods, earthquakes, all kinds of different what they call acts of nature, acts of God. Okay, they all are afraid because they know that the prophecies are true. They had this guy on, what's his name, Nostradamus, yeah, French French so-called prophet amongst the Gentiles that predicted all kinds of different things, and the people actually believe those things. Now, where is he getting this stuff from? Once in a while, the Most High will allow a non-Israelite to have an idea to bring a message, like Balaam, for example, because I know the prophets of the Most High are all Israelites, but it doesn't mean to say that he wouldn't let one prisoner run free to go take a message back to their kingdom to say, hey, the Elohim of Israel says thus and thus. Okay, so Nostradamus, the French prophet, false prophet, has a mixture of different things. And it's enough to scare the heathen to know we have to keep both eyes open. Our Messiah has done so much for us. In these last days, he has actually opened our eyes to knowing who we are and what we need to do. The resurrection of the dead bones, the dry bones, are raising up very, very quickly. Even among the entertainment world, we have singers and actors and so forth that are learning that they're Hebrew. Many of them who are still under the control of the Khazarian Empire are acting certain parts in movies and stuff, and you think it's a movie, but it's a message. We had Denzel that acted in Book of Eli. It just so happened that a Hebrew was the guy who was carrying the book right up here, and nobody could read it. And it just so happened that an Edomite, if you want to use that word, was the one who wanted that book for the power. He says, don't you understand that book is a weapon? Whoever has that book controls the world. And in the book of Eli, which is similar to the tense of Jacob, Yaakov, we can see clearly that Esau wanted that birthright, which he despised, but Jacob was one who dwelt in the tents. He was not a man of the field running all over the place. But in this case, Denzel as Eli was a wanderer, trying to get to the place where he can preserve the knowledge because the whole world was upside down. They know Mishpachah. They want to say something?
I was saying that the book was Braille, like
It was in Braille,
Braille.
yeah.
Yes,
It was in Braille.
right.
And
But
he that have
the
eyes
knowledge was in
to
his
see
hand.
will see. He that have eyes to see will see. It wasn't Braille, which is a blind man. So but anyway, so our Messiah has suffered greatly, and the world will be celebrating Easter, and you're going to see crazy people in the Philippines beating themselves in the back with ropes and torture devices. You're going to also see a fraction of the Muslim world, the Shiites, that do the exact same thing in the streets, which tells us that these people are all from the Catholic Mother Church. Muhammad's wife was a nun who was raised up to be the starter, the fire starter for the whole Islamic revolution. And that's a hidden secret. There are documents where Muhammad signed to give peace treaties between the Catholic Church that the Muslims will not attack the mosques and whatnot. I mean, the churches and whatnot. And there's a contract that has been signed between the two of them and kept in a monastery, a Catholic monastery. Hopefully, one of these great days, I will have a chance to give you all that information, but it's there. So they know the truth, Mishpachah. We need to stay in our lane and understand who we are as a people, and that our Mashiach or Messiah suffered for Israel and Israel alone. First and foremost, then let the dogs can have the crumbs afterwards. But the children must first be what? Fed, fed, filled. Thank you, filled, which is completely different than just being fed. That means that your belly is just, that's enough, that's enough. Okay, let me have one more grape. Oh, okay, I think I overate. Then everybody else can come afterwards and have a little something too. It doesn't mean to say that, then they're not going to get something to eat, but we don't give the fatted calf. We don't give the best to those nations. That's why our Torah was set that if something die of itself, a cow, your cow was looking at you in the morning, and before sunset, he's not feeling so good. He ate some bad corn or bad grass or something, and he bent over, and that was it. Bible says you can take that cow over to the heathen, and they can chop it up, make a barbecue. Now the Gentiles don't like that so much because they're saying, well, why? That's not the God that we serve. Jesus wouldn't give you, usury. Those people want to. No. You don't understand. You don't understand. The Gentiles wouldn't allow us to come into their place and take their stuff. So why should we? Anyway, so we're going to look at some examples, and we're going to begin by reading Luke chapter 24. We're going to look at some examples to discern how we should look at the Bible a little different. If you're new to this particular study, and all of a sudden I'm getting kind of dark here on the screen. I don't know what's going on. If you're new to this particular study, I would strongly recommend you look at the teaching in the volume of the book. It will give you, and that's on YouTube, it will give you a basic understanding of how we should be looking at the Torah, the scriptures, the prophecies, the role of the Messiah. Now, when Yeshua had died and resurrected, there was a conversation on the road to Emmaus. And the conversation led to these words, to which we're going to just highlight these words and bring it out. Because Israel has always been looking for Messiah. Since Moses, we've been looking for a Messiah. Moses made it clear that there's going to be a prophet that's going to be risen up like unto you, to me, amongst the brethren. You got to listen to him. And if you don't listen to him, this is what's going to happen, and such like. So we've been always looking for a Mashiach, a Messiah, an anointed one who is anointed to lead the sheep of Israel. Now, the Ashkenazim, or the Khazarians themselves, they understand the role of the Messiah. And when the Messiah is presented in a certain light, without following the protocols of the Torah, they said, no, there's no way that the Messiah is going to eat a ham sandwich and roll Easter eggs. That's not, so they say no. So there's a war between the children of the Mama Church and the converts to our faith or to our way of life. Just yesterday, a prominent rabbi passed away in, I think it's in New York, came from Russia, one of those places, and set up one of the largest Hasidic movements in the world. And they buried him the very same day. If you see the picture of this man, the people that came out, thousands came out in just that one day. I'm talking about looking down the road and all you can see is black coats from for miles. Just thousands just came out in the streets. They buried him the same day. And when I looked at that, I says, can you imagine if our people was one? And we have our own communities. And if someone dies, we can bury them the same day. There's no wrapping up and doing this, and we can just take them over to the cemetery and just bury them one time. Can you imagine what it'd be like when we have the resources to just hop on a plane in the morning and be over there, or in the afternoon and be there in no time at all before the sunset, the person is buried? And that was on a Friday. Normally in New York, whenever the stores are open, it's open until about 12. So by 3 o'clock, everyone is home preparing for the beginning of what they call Shabbat on Friday evening. Okay. So that's what they practice. And they have the current they have the community to do those things. But the Most High says that we will be scattered among the nations. So now, Yeshua was explaining to these men who were traveling, because they were confounded, they were confused. Like, we saw the miracles, we saw all the things happen, but all of a sudden, this guy just stopped and he just died. You know, he just died. So, what's going on? So let's read verses 25 to 27 in the book of Luke, chapter 24. And Yeshua explained what the problem is, what we need to do. Go ahead and read for me.
Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken.
So he's addressing them as slow of understanding. The prophet said certain things. The prophet said certain things. Is that better? And he's trying to point them. You believe what the prophets are saying, but you don't understand what the prophets are saying. You believe the prophets are true, but you don't understand the words of the prophets. So let's continue. Verse 26.
Says, ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?
Isn't the Messiah supposed to suffer the things? Because you saw the miracles. Oh, that's great. You saw the fish and bread. Oh, we love that too. We saw the dead being raised. Oh, we love that. But the punching in the mouth, the pulling out of the beard, the whiplash. I don't, we don't like that so much. That's that's a Messiah naked in the streets and the cross on a tree. No. Our Messiah is supposed to be coming on a horse, tearing up the Romans and all that stuff. No, we something is wrong. We didn't get that part. Read it again. 26.
Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory?
Read.
And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself.
And beginning at Moses. Now let me back up just a little bit. Ought not Christ, the Messiah, to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? Enter into his glory. So it's a progression. It's some stages. And beginning at Moses, Moses begins where? What
Genesis.
book? The book of Genesis, right? So beginning with the Genesis book and all the prophets, all the way to Malachi, he expounded onto them in all the scriptures. Now, they didn't have a New Testament. That's the thing. The problem that we have today is that you ask a person about the Messiah, they're going to say, oh, Matthew. And Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Galilee. And oh, hallelujah. Okay. So how did the disciples figure things out? How did they figure things out? So he explained to them the missing pieces that they didn't understand, the things concerning himself. He didn't say part of the scriptures, he says all of it. So that means to say, when we look at things, something is wrong with the way we observe the scriptures. We need to look at it different. So I put this question out there. If the New Testament letters were taken away from you, where would you go to prove how the Messiah would suffer and why he would suffer? Are we going to go? Where will we go to prove his suffering, that he had to suffer? Okay. Again, if you ask your pastor this question, they might point, which we're going to look at a few things, but they're not going to see the full picture, all right, of what's happening. In the book of Psalms, chapter 40, read that for me, verses 7.
Lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me.
It says, Lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. In the volume. A volume of the book is not a few words. Let's put it over there. The volume of a book is not a few words. Volume of the book is the complete scrolls. Elder, can you hold that close to you? Okay. All right. In the volume of the book, it should be on the screen, right? Okay. All right. In the volume of the book is not just one or two cherry-picked verses. In the volume of the book is all the book, the complete. Like when the salesman comes around and he's saying, I'm going to sell you Encyclopedia Britannica, right? And you paid $300 and some dollars for it. Then the UPS comes around and the UPS gives you an envelope, a fat envelope. And you open that thing and it says volume of the book. And you're like, okay, wait a minute. I paid $300 for this thing right here. $300 for this. No. You're going to call up the company. Hey, why is that book so expensive? What is it made of? Gold or something? You says you're going to send me volume of the book. You're going to send me Encyclopedia Britannica. You look at the thing, it says, oh, it's made in China. You don't see no alphabet on there. Nothing, so not even numbers from 1 to 100 or something. And you says, oh, wait a minute, something's wrong. I've been gypped. Somebody's robbed me. So then you realize that the volume of the book, it is A to Z. So you can pick through A to Z and you can learn something. And that's what it's all about. He says the volume of the book, it is written about him. Not about David. It's not about Samson. It's not about Abraham. Who is it about? The Messiah. And as Israelites, we're never supposed to forget who we serve. You don't serve me. You don't serve each other. I don't care who it is, what school that you come from. No man is more important than the Messiah. Nobody. The Messiah is number one. And if you can't deal with him, forget about dealing with the Father. Just forget about it. So everything is about our Messiah. Don't tell me that you love the Messiah and hate your brother. That doesn't work either. You can forget about it. You just close the book, go home. Any words that come out of your mouth that speaks of, like it says in Hebrew, Lashon Hara, hateful speech, evil speaking, tongues, to your brother, your sister, whoever, you have basically closed the door, slammed the door on your fingers, your toes. That's it. Forget it. Don't even think about the Messiah, because it begins with your brethren, those that you can see. Okay. Question: if you were given a box of puzzle pieces, and it was said to you that this is an image of someone without providing a guide, you're given a box and you got all these pieces. How successful would you be in getting the right picture? Not getting the picture right, but getting the what? Is there a difference? Tell me, what's the difference? Grab the mic. Let's hear. Let's hear someone else speak besides myself. Huh? What's the difference between getting the right picture and getting the picture right? Uh-huh. Grab the mic. They don't know what you're saying. I can be misinterpreting or missaying what you're saying, and they're gonna say, "There's nobody in the room. He's making that stuff up."
The right picture is the one that you're looking for. You're
Uh-huh.
supposed to be looking for.
Right.
And to get the picture right is to put everything together in place.
Right.
Oh,
Good. Good. Anyone else? Yep.
I think the right picture is supposed to be the correct one.
The correct one. The
Because
correct.
you're looking for what you know it's supposed to be.
That's right.
So
The
you're
correct.
looking for the correct one. Anything else time that is not the correct one is not the right one.
Because when you look at a puzzle, it's cut up into certain jigsaw puzzle is cut up in such a way that sometimes a piece will fit, but it doesn't match. See, there's a difference. It fits, but it doesn't match. It's not really putting the thing together where at the end of the day, it looks like something that you can relate to. He says, well, how come the horse has a ponytail? And why is the eyes blinking over here by the buttocks? And you realize that no, something is wrong. But when you force things together, what happens is that it makes everything loose and it's not held together. So when you try to make that correction, you have such a space because you ram that thing in there, and now when you pull it apart, try to put it together, it unless you're really good, you're gonna have problems. And that's what has happened to the scriptures. People have forced things to try to make it fit, and then later on, when they repent, it's difficult to kind of get things together again. And nobody believes you because you messed it up the first time, right? So we have to get everything correct, Mishpachah, and use the Bible, the Torah, the Tanakh, the scriptures as the means to navigate through. Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you. Good to see you, sis. Shabbat Shalom, little ones. Shabbat Shalom. Where's Daddy? Shabbat Shalom, Brother Kelvin. Good to see you. So we're studying in the volume of the book, and we're looking at the pieces. We're going to look at some of the pieces to try to get some understanding of this message about the Messiah. So we're not going to get him wrong. So when you see these people in the street flogging themselves and saying we are following in the footsteps of the Messiah, and then like we played last year, the dude who was crucified on the cross in the Philippines, you saw him in the street in the corner by the shop smoking a cigarette. It's like, oh, wait a minute, man. You're trying to emulate the Messiah. You end up getting nails put in your hand and all that stuff because you want to follow in the footsteps of the Messiah. But then you don't think the Messiah after resurrection is going to go and have a pull, a puff. Huh? That makes no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. So, huh? The Catholic priests, they smoke. Even the rabbis, they smoke too. And they have a little flask in there to drink a little bit of. Ella, you know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen it yourself. A little flask, a little special flask, you know. Something for thee. So let's continue. How did the Bereans, as an example, learn about the Messiah? They began with the book of Genesis by searching, and we're going to go there too. Every piece is very important. You can't say, well, man, I know what this is all about. This is a horse. And you throw away the rest of the pieces. Just like sometimes, you know, as men, we get a project like we're going to build a cabinet, right, Brother Kelvin? And you start to put up the cabinet, and you see there's about 10 screws remaining. He says, we don't need those screws. I see some faces laughing. Don't you do that too? You work on vehicles? Uh-huh.
Eventually you find a lot of parts there. Yeah, where this come from?
You took the thing down, and then you have a lot of parts. And then when you're trying to put it back, you see all these parts remaining. And you figure, well, it's too much work to put it back in there, and I don't really need that. So when you start putting the books on the shelf, all of a sudden, 2 days later, all the books is on the floor. And if you don't be careful, you can have the same situation that happened in Florida with that bridge collapse. That same thing will happen too. because they said the guy was notified about some cracks because they probably got cement from China or something, and decided, well, let's just slap this thing together. We're gonna charge the government 500 million, and we're gonna bill it for 2 million. Everybody got paid, pretty good. That's what they do, and that's how religion. You want to say something? Religion, Christianity has been set up. You have an entire book, 66 books, and you only pull in 6 scriptures from that. How do they do that stuff? And then they want to know why people are walking around with their lives destroyed the way they do. It's a bridge, a collapsed bridge. Yes.
I was saying they were supposed to have it held up by some, you know how they put the bridge and they have the strings coming?
You mean the cable, the wire?
Cables, right. But they didn't get the cable on there before they opened the bridge. So
they didn't have the cable, but they had people
Right.
already.
Guess what? My sister told me that because she's into those things. that they
Oh,
do.
structure, building.
Structures. And she
They
said
didn't try to
they
blame
were
her for that,
supposed-
right?
No.
Oh, okay. Just
They,
want to make
they
sure.
had the cable. They're supposed to put the cable on, but
Mhm.
it collapsed right in the middle part. Like it just collapsed in the middle. So it was a real terrible mess.
So let's look at what the Bereans did. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 17. We're going to read verses 3, then we'll skip on down to verses 11. So one of the things that Shaul did, the apostle Paul, because remember he gave Israel a hard time. But when the Most High opened his eyes, now he was able to see what he wasn't seeing before. And so he understood, because he had the background in the Torah very, very well. So now when he's preaching, because he never met the Messiah for 3.5 years like that, he only met him that one time and maybe a few other times, and that was it. But he didn't spend that 3.5 years like Peter and James and them did. And so when the message was clear to him, then he started to teach with the same formula. If I'm going to teach about the Messiah, let me explain to you how you need to look at the Bible. So let's read verses 3. And this is Hebrews in Berea. Okay? Huh?
Can we read from 1 to 3?
You want to read from 1 to 3?
Yeah, because then it flows better when you.
Maisha, you know how she do it already.
Yeah, it flows better because when you just go through that part
okay.
right there.
So let me do this real quick.
Yeah.
Let me put it side by side with each other. Where's my... Oh, let's get that up. Close this one out. And let's put it side by side with each other. Everybody can see that? Good? Okay, let's get the standard. And let's go to
because some people would think that he's speaking to everybody, but it tells you in 1 and 2 it was speaking specifically to Jews.
Okay. All right, so we're good now. Let's go up.
Yeah, just 1 to 3.
And if you can't see over my head, then just open up the book and let's go through it. So this is the book of Acts 17. She wants to start at verses 1.
Yes. Now, when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews.
Synagogue of the Jews. Not a denomination of... go ahead.
And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Shabbat days reasoned with them out of the scriptures.
So he's not reasoning with them out of the book of Luke or the book of Revelation. He's reasoned with them out of the scriptures, and that was his custom. Now, some would say, well, his custom was to go reason. No, his custom was to go to the synagogue and go to the places where Hebrews practice. That's what he did. You know, if you're from Jamaica, for example, and you're traveling to Russia, and you want to get some good, rice and peas, for example, you're going to be asking, is there any Jamaican restaurants around here? First thing, restaurant. And then when you get to the restaurant, you're gonna say, okay, where the yardis them hang out, right? Then you want to find out where the community is. And if there's no yardis, no Jamaicans there, then the closest thing will be others from the places of the Caribbean. So you know, okay, that's what you do. You find, because you're in Thessalonica, that's a Gentile city. If you're looking for soul food, you want to know exactly. And when you get to that restaurant, then you find out where all the people who eat soul food would reside, right? The communities. I mean, it's clear. Okay, let's read.
Opening and alleging that the Messiah must needs have suffered
Uh-huh.
and risen again from the dead, and that this Yeshua, whom I preach unto you, is the Messiah.
So he opened the book and he proved that the Messiah, the anointed one, had to suffer because that was the problem. You notice the same things repeated, the suffering. Yeshua explained to those men in Emmaus, the disciples, hey, there was a suffering part that you didn't get. And then risen again from the dead. Okay? Lazarus suffered with his sickness, but then 4 days later, he rose from the dead. But the people were crying, and Yeshua was crying because he wasn't crying for Lazarus. He was crying because they didn't understand who he was. That's what it was about. They didn't understand that the resurrection was standing right in front of you. You couldn't see it. The living resurrection was right there. So that's the reason why they were, oh, I was crying. If you had only come at such and such time, he wouldn't have suffered and died like this. Now he's stinking, and you want to, this, nah, come on, man. This is ridiculous. He's already rotten in there. He looked at them, he cried, because he wanted them to understand that he is the one who holds the keys to life and resurrection. Let's go ahead and read.
Verse 11.
Verses 11.
These were more noble than those in Thessalonica,
Mm-hmm.
in that they received the word with all readiness of mind.
Let's pause for a moment. Now we're seeing that these brethren were more noble, and the reason for that nobility was because they had an open mind. An open mind. I don't mean like your mind is open for anything to go in, but you examine things. It comes in, you know, it's processed. You examine it like, oh, wait a minute, this don't make any sense. Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. This connects here, boom, boom, boom. It's like an adult is looking at a child putting together the puzzle, and you're telling a child, what do you think about that color over there? That's black. Why don't you put all the black pieces together in one pile, and all those that have lines in another pile, and let's start building. You know, you try to bring certain things that you can relate to together, and then from that point, you start to build. Doesn't mean to say that the lines doesn't cross over into some other, but you start somewhere, okay? Read, readiness of mind.
And search the scriptures daily, whether those things were so.
See? They didn't just take it today and just go home and believe it and say hallelujah, but they examine the scriptures every day. Because sometimes today you look at something and it makes a lot of sense to you, but as soon as you fall asleep, you wake up, it's like, what did I read last night? That don't make any sense. You're making all kinds of notes. It's like, wait a minute. I dropped the breadcrumbs, but where do I start to walk? Do I start here? Or do I start over there? And that happens to me too. Sometimes I'm doing a study, and if I stay too long away from it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Father, you gave me something and I made all these notes. And I got to go back again and sit there for a while. Like, oh, okay. And then sometimes he gives you fresh revelation, newness, in addition to what you had before. And then in order for you to keep it, you got to stay on that daily. And that's what he does. He says, whether those things were so. It's almost when you're writing a song, and when you sing that song, when you write the song, if that song, even before you write it, if it stays in your head a few days, you got a hit. The hook is there. It's not leaving, right? So that's what we have to do, Mishpachah. We have to check the scriptures. So where did he say to search? How do we search? We have to search the scriptures, and we're going to look at some examples first. And then we're going to go into the book of Psalms. We're going to go to the book of Job. I have a rough layout of some things. We're going to go to the book of Chronicles and compare that with. We're going to look at some of the sufferings, okay? But we're going to look at some examples first. Now, again, for those of you who this is new to you, look at in the volume of the book, teaching, and you're going to get some examples. And those examples is like Joseph. We're going to see some examples with Daniel, just some themes, thematic connections about the Messiah. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Adam. We're going to look at some thematic parallels of the Messiah using the life of Adam, comparing that with Jacob, so we can see the role of the Messiah. Okay? And I kind of like outline a few things here. And when you look at the two, now, when we say thematic, a theme, it's like a movie script, right? Most of the times we find there's a reenactment or there's revision of certain movies or certain plays. People like, for example, Shakespeare. People have taken that playwright or whatever you want to call it, and they have done different versions of it. They done the city style one with hood type thing. Then they did the most sophisticated type. So they have taken the same story and revised it, put it in such a way to speak to different audiences. Very soon they're going to have a sodomite one, which, they probably have that already. They have it already? Oh, the young Hebrew says they got it already. Oh, my goodness. So what Yeshua was saying to us as Israelites, I have taken what I am going to do for Israel. And I have taken that action, my characteristics, or the script of my role, and I have placed that on these men and women throughout the book. So when you read their lives, they're actually acting out what I'm going to do for you. So when you read their lives, you're actually reading about me. When you read about their characters, even some of the heathen kings, that's about me from a different perspective. And sometimes the Messiah is saying, sometimes I play both roles. Sometimes I'm going to be a prophet, and sometimes I'm going to be the villain. I'm going to play both sides to kind of trip you up. But if you look at these things from that perspective, you're going to understand me. Some would say, no, my Messiah is too good. Like the queen don't pass gas. No. The Messiah, the Messiah ain't gonna ride no donkey. No, he's too good for that. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't understand what it is, what his role is all about. So let's do a comparison. And we're gonna go to the book of Genesis. And let me see how we're gonna do this. We're going to compare between Genesis, the story of Adam and Eve, and Jacob. Okay, remember when Jacob, well, let's go through it. Let's go to Genesis. And like I said, it's interactive, so if something pops up, by all means. So let's go, first of all, Adam. Eve was named by her Elohim. Who's her Elohim? Adam was her Elohim. That's right. Because remember, Adam was made in the image of Elohim and was given the power over the whole earth. Then afterwards, his wife came about, and Eve, or his wife, was given the name by her husband. So where do we go to find that? Let's go there first of all. That's in Genesis what? Anyone
Chapter
knows?
3.
Genesis chapter 3. So let's go there. And we're just going to pull some highlights of
Oh, 2,
2 or 3.
3. 3. 3. Verse 20.
3 verses 20.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're going to, and both stories. So Adam equals to the Messiah. Jacob equals to the Messiah. Okay, or the role of the Messiah. But it depends on how you're looking at it. Okay. So in the book of Genesis chapter 3, verses 20, this is what it says. Read.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve
Mhm.
because she was the mother of all living.
So Adam was the one who named who will be his wife. Okay? And she's the mother of all living. Now let's do a comparison. Let's go to Genesis again. And let's go to the part where Jacob wrestled. Remember that? And let's do a comparison. So I'll let you all get me the chapter and we'll go there.
Genesis 28.
Genesis what?
28.
28.
Mhm.
Okay. So
that-
Genesis
No,
28.
no. That's when he was going to his father's house, or when
No,
he was
when he
coming?
wrestled. When he wrestled.
Okay, then
Yeah.
that's
Come on,
32.
Hebrews. We're at the end of the year, and all those years of learning. I'm not going to put everything up for you, for you all to just.
32.
No, you're going to come in the kitchen.
32.
You're going to cut some
28.
carrots. Huh?
32, 28.
32 and 28. Okay. 32 and 28. Okay. So let's take a look at that. So we're matching up some things here.
You can read further up if you want.
Huh?
You can read higher up if you want.
No, we want to stick to those verses. Let's
Then
start
read
at verses
24.
27.
Oh.
27. No, the rest of the stuff we're going to cover. We don't want to read because we're going to go through those with the layout, okay? So
Mhm.
let's read from verses 27.
And he said unto him, what is thy name?
What is your name?
And he said, Jacob.
Wife, okay? Let's put it that way. Wife. Read.
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
Uh-huh.
For as a prince hast thou power with Yah and with men, and have prevailed.
Okay. So we find that when this is about covenant too. This is about covenant. When we'll go into that. I'll just leave that for the next, okay? But we find that there's a name in here. This is very significant because when it says the mother of all living, this means that when Eve was called the mother of all living, this is like now we're going to start beginning a nation or families, or now we're going to start the birth of something's going to build from here. When Jacob was named such and such, Israel, now, even though he had children, now we're going to start building from this point. The naming is important. It's very important, okay? Because you have people who are living together. They're not with anybody else. They're living together, but they haven't done the official paperwork to receive the benefits and everything else. You understand? So now we have the beginning. Now, the interesting thing about the sequence of events, the second one that I have here is that animals preceded the naming. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. And right before Adam called his wife Eve, you're going to notice that, because we're looking at patterns. You're going to notice that before that happened, right before that event happened, Remember that Adam was alone. Where was that? Chapter 2? Chapter 2. Which chapter 2, this part of chapter 2 is connected to 3 because the introduction of the woman, the introduction of the covenant, the introduction of the bringing together of the union. Jacob was joined to the Messiah at this point. Okay. So now, where is it? Chapter 2, chapter 2. Okay. Let's read, we're going to read, well, we'll come back to that. But right before Adam, the Eve came out from Adam, okay? You notice right before that, we find that, let's go to verses 19.
19.
Look at the sequence, okay? Verses 19 says, read.
And out of the ground, Yahuwah Elohim formed every beast of the field
Mm-hmm.
and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Call. When you call them, you're giving them a name. Okay? Read.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
So the animals were introduced to Adam in such a way right before his wife came into the picture, or the covenant. Okay, read verses 20.
And Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help meet for him.
All right, let's leave that. Now we're going to go, because we're going to come back to this, but now we're going to go to Genesis 32. And so we read verses 28. What is your name? Your name is, okay, my name is Jacob. Okay, so you ask the animals a question, and the lion goes, okay, you're lion. Tiger, okay, you're tiger. Okay, you're elephant. He gave names accordingly. All right, okay, you're orangutan, whatever. So he gave the names accordingly. Now when we read before Jacob was his name was changed, let's go a little higher up in that same verse. And let's go to verses, let's see. We can go to verses 14. Go to 14, but you can also go before that, like 7. Okay, 7. And let's read 7. We're just making a few highlights. We're not really making this into a class, but we just want to highlight the sequence of events. Before the name came about, there was the name, these animals came about, okay, in a picture. So read verses 7.
Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands.
Now let's skip on to verses 14.
200 she goats and 20 he goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 kine and 10 bulls, 20 she asses and 10 foals.
Now I purposely put the animals second in the listing because I wanted us to kind of like see what's happening. Okay, I purposely mixed it up so y'all can really see, and then from there on, then you're gonna start noticing. Okay, it's happening like boom, 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 and so forth. Okay, now going back to Genesis chapter 2, it says on the list you had a helper emerge after sleep. So thematically speaking, sleep happened, and then you have the naming that occurred afterwards. You have the sleep, okay, the sleep that happened. So in Genesis 2 and 21, let's take a peek at that and read.
And Yah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam,
Uh-huh.
and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
All of those things that we just read is thematically connected to Jacob. Okay. Now, also keep in mind, thematically speaking, it's connected to the Messiah, because the Messiah is playing two roles. Not only is he playing a role as the husband, but he replaces his role, he removes himself as the husband in a way and absorb his wife onto himself. Shalom, Brother Louis. Shabbat shalom. He also absorbed that role of his wife onto himself. So let's go back and see. He says, a deep sleep fell upon Adam, right? And then the wife came forth. Now let's compare that with Jacob. Let's go back to Genesis 32. Okay, I see your hand being raised. Hang on one second. Okay, so let me promote you over. And once you're promoted over, let's see if I can get you. Okay, let's see. Where's brother? Okay, brother Kaziso, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Good.
Shalom.
Thanks. Shalom, Kahiso means shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Where you calling from?
From South Africa.
South Africa. Shabbat shalom to you.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
What's on your mind, brother?
Just happy, brother, to be part of the family in this main teaching.
All right. Shabbat shalom to you, and I'm grateful that you're able to join us.
Grateful to family.
I like everyone to say a pleasant Shabbat shalom to South Africa.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, family.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So good to have you.
Good to have you. Happy. Thanks.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay, so we have other Hebrews that's going to say Shabbat shalom on the mic. Let you all say Shabbat shalom, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so I hope I pronounced your name correctly, brother. Did I pronounce your name?
Yes, that's good. Kahiso means peace or shalom itself.
Kagiso means peace?
Yes, or we can say shalom.
Okay, so I can say, so how do you say Shabbat in
our language?
Yes.
In my Tswana speaking, we say dumelang or greetings.
Dumala?
Yes.
Dumalam.
Dumelang, yes.
So if I say Dumalam Kagiso, is that correct?
Yes, or you can say dumela, individual.
Dumera, okay.
Yes.
Hey, you all have to help me remember that, okay? I'm too old to remember all these things. All right, thank you, brother. We're going to put you back on mute, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The light is shifting back and forth. I'm getting darker and darker.
Love in every language.
Okay. Kifa, do me a favor. Can you raise that up just a little bit? And I'm fading out here. I think the light is struggling with the natural light, with the artificial light. Okay. Yeah, that should be all right. Okay. All right. So, and I don't want any more lights because I'll be cooking over here too. Okay. So let's go to Genesis chapter 32. Mm-hmm. And now let's read where Jacob received the name. Where is it?
From 27.
27.
He received the name. He said, "What is thy name?" 27.
Okay, let's go before. Yeah, let's go before that. Okay, verses 21. Let's pick it up from there. 21. Because so, it's the darkness first and then he was named. The deep sleep first, and then the naming of Eve. Okay, so this is the sequence. This is how we're looking at things. We get it. So let's see what happened before he got the name. So let's start at verses 21.
So when the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok.
Mm-hmm.
And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
So this wrestling occurred at night.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we call that maybe we had a hard time sleeping. You're all night, you're tossing and turning. Now, when the way that is written, you're not going to make that connection so easily, but you have to think what happened with Jacob before the naming took place. See, Brother Louis is smiling. You got something you want to share?
No, just happy.
You see that, right? So now when you see that there's a darkness, this is like deep darkness, and he's dealing with this thing, okay, this event. And then emerged from there was the name, okay? Now, let's look at the other piece because we got a lot of stuff to cover, and I don't want to, I'll get bogged down with just this part. Now, with Adam, you want to bring something out?
Are you going to connect them to the Messiah, the parts that you see? In other words, you show the darkness and you show these things. Are you going to connect it to what happened to the Messiah?
Well, you can.
Okay.
It's an open book.
Okay.
So it's you know, anything that we want to bring out to point to the Messiah, because remember, this is not about me or you. This is about him. We owe it all to him, right? Okay, so now let's go back to Genesis chapter 2 and read verses 21 again.
And Yah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Notice the event that happened, the sleep, then the rib, verses 22 to 23.
And the rib which Yah Elohim had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
So in order for Adam to have his wife, we had to have a little operation with the bone areas, right? That took place, right? Do we find the same thing with Jacob? Before Jacob became, or Israel became the bride of the Messiah, or joined in covenant relationship with the Messiah, because the word bone in the Hebrew is called basar. And basar means what? Good news.
Good news.
Gospel.
Good tidings.
Good tidings.
Yeah.
So when it
Also
says
flesh.
we come to preach the gospel, he's saying I come to speak to who? My flesh, bone of my bone. The other nations are not of the flesh. They're not of the covenant. It's all based on covenant. Okay? All based on covenant. So let's see if we find the same thing with Jacob. And obviously we do. So chapter 32, verses 25 of Genesis. Read.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint.
So he moved.
As he wrestled with him.
So we have a dislocation of the thigh region, the bone, right?
The joints.
The joints. So, brothers and sisters, are you starting to see the connections, how they're parallel or running next to each other? And sometimes there's a fence between the two, and you don't realize that you have somebody. It's like you're in a jail, and you're writing the amount of days on the wall, and you start crying, and then all of a sudden you hear somebody crying, and you're thinking, well, maybe the wall is an echo, and you stop crying, and then you hear somebody crying the next door, because they heard you crying. They're crying too. And you have two people going through the same situation next to each other, and they don't even know that they've never seen each other, but they're right there, parallel with each other. Same story, same event. Okay. Now, one with Adam and Elohim. One with Adam, who is an Elohim. Now, when let's go back to Genesis and chapter 2, verses 23 and 24. Let's read that again. And Adam said,
We read from 2.
Genesis chapter 2, verses 23 and 24.
And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So Adam and his wife, they stuck together and they worked together as a team. Do we find the same thing with Jacob and the Messiah? Absolutely. Let's go back now. Is it a little warm in here? If it's a little warm, Kifa will regulate the air. Let's go to back to Genesis 32. And let's read verses 28.
And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with Yah and with men, and have prevailed.
That's all we need. So when Eve came on the scene, she shared the same space and rulership with Adam. Because Eve is actually Adam. I mean, it didn't come from somewhere else; it came out of him, right? So now we find this connection with Jacob and the Most High, where the Most High is saying, "You got power with me now. I'm making you an Elohim with me. You see that? You're part of me. And you're going to rule with me, because when I rule on this earth, you're going to be ruling in this earth. There ain't going to be nobody over you." You see? You can see how everything is flowing. Now let's go to the next one, because we got a lot more stuff. Nakedness is seen. When you go back to Genesis 2, verses 25, let's read that.
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
So the both of them are naked. I can see my wife can see me, my business, but nobody else can see it. We only can see each other. And that is being intimate, being personal. We understand each other. I know, like when a man sends his wife to the doctor, he needs to go too, because the doctor don't know where everything is. He has to show the doctor where everything is. Is that correct? That's the way it's supposed to work. Y'all know that too. Brother Kelvin, you agree? You better agree, brother. We're in trouble. You got to be this as a doctor. Don't put your hand there. This is where this is where it is right here. And if anything is wrong, you tap him. You straighten him out, and you take him in the back room, and you might have to rough him up a little bit.
No, you should go to a woman doctor.
Even a woman doctor, he has to show where everything is. Anyway, but the point is that you can see that they were able to see each other. Is that correct? It's the seeing of each other. Now let's go over to Genesis chapter 32 and verses 30. Let's read that, verses 30.
And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen Yah face to face, and my life is preserved.
When you see the Most High face to face, that's very personal. Y'all understand that? Do y'all get it? Or do I need to explain it? When you see the Most High's face, now where can we find in the Torah an example of this experience?
With Moses.
With Moses. Can you get the scripture? With Moses. Moses. Oh. see, Moses. I don't like this search. This is in Exodus, I believe it is. Chapter
33.
30 something. Okay.
33.
33.
And verse 22. Or 20. You can start from 20.
Okay, so
or 19.
let's go back again. Exodus 33.
Start from 18 to 22.
Exodus 33 and verses 22.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Yeshua, well, it was Yeshua, but he says, if I'm going to speak to anybody, I'm going to speak to my servant Moses, what? Face to face. Nobody else is going to have that opportunity. Not even Aaron. Okay. Now let's read from verses, let's start at verses 19. Verses 18. Okay.
We're reading from 18.
18. Let's read from 18.
And he said, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of Yah before thee.
Glory is equivalent to the beauty or the special parts that people are not, other people are not privileged to see. So it's like on honeymoon, he says, this is all my glory. You're seeing everything that others will not be able to see. Okay. Verses 19, read.
And will be gracious to whom I will be gracious.
Uh-huh.
And will show mercy on whom I will show mercy.
And he said,
thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live.
Mm-hmm.
And Yah said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen.
This is important because it, once again, without spending too much time on this, it connects right back to Adam and Eve being able to see each other in the raw form. Same way with Moses, the same way with Jacob in chapter 32, that he was able to see and his life is preserved. Okay? That's all we want from that, just to show the flow of events, to understand how we understand the Messiah in the volume of the book. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, that's it goes a little bit deeper too. Yes. Now let's look at what followed after Eve was named in chapter 2. We go to chapter 3 now. And then we have the serpent coming into the picture. Because right after Eve and Adam connected, we have the adversary that came afterwards. Is that correct? All right, so without reading all of it, we can read, let's read verses. Let's see, let's read verses 1.
Genesis 3 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Yah said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Now let's skip on down to well, read some more. Read some more.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah have said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Yah doeth know that in the day you shall eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
All right, that's all we need from there. Now, when we look at the situation with, now let me just back up a little bit. So Satan wanted Eve to join up with him. Leave the instructions, leave your being connected to Elohim, and leave your husband, and come join me in this, working this plan out or whatever. I'm going to give you, steer you into a different direction. Now we're going to find the same thing with Jacob in Genesis chapter 33, right after Jacob received the Naaman. Then all of a sudden, we find someone is going to meet Jacob, and this person was an adversary of Jacob, Esau. Exactly, Esau. Now we can read. Let's read from verses 4. We'll skip through a few things.
And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept.
Okay, so now we have this close connecting with this adversary. Okay, now let's skip on down to verses 8. Just going to read a few pieces here.
And he said, what meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, these are to find grace in the sight of my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself.
Okay, now there's a part that I want to bring. Let me go straight down. Okay, let's skip on down to verses 15.
And Esau said, let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, what needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord.
So what we find here is very similar, because Satan was trying to convince Eve to leave and to follow him. Esau was also trying to convince Jacob to leave his direction from going back to his father's house and building a nation from there, and to follow and go to Mount Seir. And Mount Seir, if you do the study, let's pull it up. Seir, S-E-I-R. Let's copy that, and let's open up. Let me go over here. Let's go to the Strongs. I'm going to show you. I know many of you all have seen it before, but we're going to just go through it again. Okay, so we have the word Seir right here. Seir, let me make it a little bigger. Uh-oh, too big. Okay. Now, if you look at the word Seir, it says it means hairy or shaggy. But as you dig into it a little deeper, you're going to see that the word for that, let me go a little deeper. Hang on. So the root of that word, Seir, right here, translates as a goat, a kid, a goat, and what? What do we see here? A devil. You see it on the screen? A devil. So, in a way, in the Hebrew mindset, Esau was the devil. Jacob is synonymous, or symbolically, Jacob is Eve. He's the bride, he's the wife. The Messiah is symbolically Adam, or Adam is symbolically the Messiah. So you have a convincing of the bride, trying to get the bride to change direction and join with Satan. You have the bonding, the naming of the bride, which is Jacob, and then you have the devil showing up afterwards, trying to sway him to be under his direction instead. You can read that whole thing and get the sense of what I'm trying to bring out here, okay? So this is how we can look at things differently and understand. The Bible is trying to teach us, if we look at it differently, what's happening, okay, on a different scale. Let's move on to our next slide. When we read the story of Adam, we see that Adam began his journey coming into the Garden of Eden as a gardener. Is that correct? Because the Most High created Adam, chapter 2, I think it is.
He created him out and placed him in
He
the
created him
garden.
outside.
Yes.
Where is that now? Let's get it here.
Chapter 2. And verse somewhere up there. Somewhere 16.
Oh yeah, verses 15.
Yeah, 15,
Okay.
16.
Read verses 15 for me.
And Yah Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it.
Took him and put him into a garden to dress it. And this is where we find the wife thing, okay? Jacob also had the same situation. Where did he meet his wife?
At the well.
But where? Okay. So with Jacob now, he began his journey as a keeper of sheep. Adam was a keeper of the garden. Jacob was a keeper of sheep.
So was his
amongst Laban.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got his wives were, when he was in that place where Laban was, and he was working for Laban, Adam was in the garden, and that's where he got his wife, not outside the garden. You see, so you can see the same structure right in front of you if you really look carefully. Everybody got that? We good? Okay. So let's move on. We don't want to spend too much time on that. Back again. With Adam was removed. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3 real quick. Adam was removed from the garden because Elohim told Adam that if, don't eat of this thing, right? Don't eat of this thing. The day that you eat of this, you will die, right? So Adam was removed from the garden because of a breach of contract. We don't have to read all of it because we all already know that. That's like first grade, okay? Right, little brother? That's correct. Breach of contract. Jacob also left his servitude, or the place that he was working, his place of employment as a keeper of the sheep, because of what reason? Let's find that. Want to get it for me?
Repeat what you said.
Jacob left Laban because there was a breach of contract. The guy worked for the brother worked for or granddaddy worked for, greatest granddaddy worked for 14 years, and when the time comes that he can go and have his own setup, Laban says, you can't go because these women belong to me, and all this food, this thing that you got belongs to me. You can't leave.
30, Genesis 30.
Genesis 30?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get that. Genesis 30.
Mm-hmm.
What verse? We
30. That's where it starts at 30, where he
Genesis 30 and 30?
Yeah, to get his blessings and stuff.
All right, let's
and then if you go to
verses 28.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's read from there.
28. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And I have blessed thee since my coming. And now when I shall provide for mine own also. And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all the flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep.
All right. We don't want to read all the whole thing because we got other things. We got to go through the suffering in that degree. We want to show some things on that. But so Jacob and Laban had an agreement, but let's go to the next chapter. But Laban Jacob said to his daughters, like, I mean, to his wives, like, listen, man, your daddy ain't treating me right. Verses 7.
Mhm. And
Let's read from
7 of
6.
31.
Yeah, 31, verses 6 and 7.
Okay.
We just want to highlight the breach of contract. That's it. Move on.
And you know that with all my power I have served your father, and your father have deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But ye have suffered him not to hurt me.
Okay, that's all we need from that. So I just want to highlight that in the book of in Adam's story, there was a breach of contract. Adam, because of situation, and they were both kicked out. The whole family left. We find the breach of contract with Jacob, that he had to leave with his family also. Now, right after now in Adam's story, we find that there was cherubims.
Now,
Oh, you
I
want
just want to say something real quick.
Oh,
but
okay.
that was the second time the Levan tried to breach their contract, because the first time was after 7 years when he gave him the wrong wife, and he took that one. But the second time he was like, no, the second time it's my turn, and I'm not gonna let that happen. Same thing that happened with Baggy Adam. You know, the first time God allowed, you know, the devil to breach the contract, but the second time is Jesus, so it's not gonna happen.
And the more we look into it, we're going to find so many gems that's in there, and it's going to start to line up. So that's what we're doing with this puzzle. We're starting to see the pieces come together. Now, in the book, in Adam's life, in the book of Adam, in Adam's life, we see that. Let's go back to Genesis, right at the end, verses 24. Read that for me.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
Okay, so with Adam and his wife, there were angels. It says cherubims. It didn't say cherubim, but it says cherubims. Now, we Jacob also had a situation where he met angels, and I think that is I'm trying to remember exactly where. Let's see. That's Genesis chapter 32 and verses 1. 32 and verses 1. 32 and verses 1. Verses 1. And this occurred, you know, with the leaving of one place. We find the angels. Okay, read.
And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of Yah met him.
All right. That's it. That's all we need. Okay, angels. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now let's go a little bit deeper. Now we're going to look at Adam, with just focusing on Adam himself. Okay, so the first Adam, and then the Bible mentions that Yeshua is the last Adam. Is that correct? Okay, so Adam suffered, and he bore the consequences of what happened with his wife, because the Bible says that he was not the one who first sinned; it was his wife. But Adam didn't, he could have like cast her off. He didn't do that. If you notice the way that he acted with his wife, he absorbed. She bite it, I guess, I don't want to lose my wife, I'm gonna bite it too. She out, I'm gonna be out too. Right? It was joined at the hip. We call it, we use those terms. So when we all know the story, do we have to read it? Do we have to read it? No. Sister says no. All right, the last Adam suffered the consequences for his wife. Now we can go to the book of Isaiah real quick. Isaiah, let's see.
Now, in a sense, because she is him, he didn't have a choice, because his flesh was already contaminated. By the time she did that, he also did it automatically, because she is really him. You see? So.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, he didn't have another choice because bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So
Oh.
you have to try to save what you can salvage back from your own flesh.
So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna break away from this for a moment, and we're gonna go to the book of Isaiah. And as a matter of fact, what we're gonna do, we're gonna read chapter 52 and chapter 53, so we can get some prophetic background about the prophecy about the Messiah. And then we'll come back and we'll just go through the themes here. As a matter of fact, you'll see it as we read through these things, we'll see it. So we don't have to read for every step for Adam and so forth, but we'll see it. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 52. Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52. And we'll start at verses 1. No, we're going to start at verses 1. We get the full thing because it actually pulls us into the same timeline or the same feeling of the whole Passover moment, okay? So let's go verses 1. What does it say?
Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
This is a prophecy of the future, that Jerusalem will not be occupied with this sodomite and unclean and all kind of foolishness that we see today. Read.
Shake thyself from the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion.
Again, what is happening to Israel being in captivity is also equivalent or fallen upon Jerusalem, the city. She's ensnared, she's in captivity also. Read.
For thus saith Yah, you have sold yourself for naught, and you shall be redeemed without money.
Mm-hmm.
For thus saith Yah Elohim, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause.
Look at the language. Does that make sense? My people went down to New York, and the Floridians oppressed them. See, the Bible automatically is knocking us across the head with a brick and letting us know that don't fit right. Pay attention, because this is prophecy. The first time we went down, there was no Assyrian oppressing us in Egypt. Pharaoh's not going to have another country come and oppress his slaves. Are you crazy? I run this prison. So it's speaking about us generally across the board. All our captivities, every last one of them. Okay, read.
Now, therefore, what I have here, saith Yah, that my people is taken away for naught. They that rule over them, make them to howl, saith Yah, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Therefore, my people shall know my name. Therefore, they shall know in that day that I am he that doeth speak. Behold, it is I.
The naming, the connecting the names to the husband is very important for the bride. Read.
How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy Elohim reigneth.
Hallelujah. Read.
Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing. For they shall see eye to eye when Yah shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem. For Yah have comforted his people, he have redeemed Jerusalem.
If you look at any video footage of Israel, and you'll see how that place have a lot of desolate places, not just Jerusalem, the capital, but all over that place. There's a lot of desolate, dried up places. Read.
Yah have made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of Yahuwah. Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean that bear the vessels of Yah. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For Yah will go before you, and Yah of Israel, the Elohim of Israel, will be your reward.
Notice it says he will go before us. So, in other words, he's telling us, remember the first Exodus, because that's how I did it, and I'm going to do it again the same way, the second time. Verses 13. So now it's going to start to go into and continue to flow into chapter 53. That's why I wanted us to read the prophecy beforehand and then see how it flows into the other one. Okay? Read.
Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high.
That's the Messiah. Read.
And many were astonished at thee. His visage was so marred more than any man.
Notice it says more than any man. Now let me pause for a moment. When you read the scriptures itself, we can't find any person, because remember I said that he has taken his the role, the life he's going to live, and put that out on the people that they have to live, that they have to experience that. And when you read their experience, you'll be seeing him. This text is saying that you're not going to find where you find someone beaten so bad that you can't recognize them. It's saying that there's only one person that was set apart for to experience, and that's the Messiah. They're going to go through a lot of other things of suffering, but being beaten where you can't recognize him. Now, Job went through something close enough, but he wasn't beaten to that point. There's a difference. That's why the text is putting it that particular way. Read it again.
And many were astonished at thee. His visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men.
So no son of man can equate to how he was so disfigured. None, no one. Okay, verses 15.
So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see.
Boy, they will see it. Read.
And that which they had not heard shall they consider.
So our Messiah suffered to the point he was beaten so bad. I believe that Mel Gibson did the best job in depicting with
the Passion.
The Passion. That was an excellent film. Some of the wrong people that were used in the film, but it was close enough. When I saw that film, I says, I've been waiting for something like this for a long time. Because people see this Jesus on the cross, and all he has is 2 drops of this troll, and that's it, and he's there. But that's not, you can't relate to that because that's not true. The Bible says he was beaten so bad, you couldn't recognize him. Disfigured, beard plucked, taking a grown man and pulling his beard out, where chunks, his flesh is removed. And beaten to that point, Mishpachah, the Cato 9 is a type of whip that they used to use on what you call capital punishment. It was a whip that had bone, metal, and glass into it, that when it hit you, it didn't bounce off of you. It was designed to stick to your flesh.
And pull. And when you pull it, tore your flesh.
To retrieve that whip, you have to pull it back. And it strips your flesh off of your body. That's what it's designed to do, to strip flesh. That the only thing that is left is that you have to go unconscious to survive that kind of beating. Most people died from that whipping alone. That's why there's no place in the Bible that speaks about that kind of ordeal demonstrated in any Hebrew. He was reserved for that alone. Yes.
Yeah, they were saying the guy who played the part, actually, when they pulled the thing, he actually got a scar in his back. When they pull it, it wasn't supposed to.
Jim
Yeah.
Caviezel, his name is.
Yes, and he also, he said when he was hanging on the cross, he got struck by lightning.
Yeah, I
and he
remember
was out. Yes,
Most I was saying,
they had to revive him.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Why stop playing me?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But he did get scarred. He said it was really painful.
And now he's acting as Paul, I think.
Yes, I think so.
In another movie.
Mm.
I think if a Hebrew, if someone plays that part, I was like, okay, I'm retired from this business. I don't think there's any part that I want to play after that. That caps it off in my career. I'm done. I'm retiring. But when you play something else, it's kind of like people look at you different. People look at you, and because that memory, that image is still in your mind. But let's get back to the essence. Our Messiah suffered for Israel. He didn't suffer. He suffered for his bride, his wife. He didn't suffer for everyone. But indirectly, everyone paid the price, because once Israel is out of the way, it's like a man who his woman runs off. He's so mad that the dog comes up, kicks the dog. His friend comes over, punches his friend out because his woman is off. He feels off. Everything that comes his way, he's gonna knock them out. Right, Louis? You're right about that, right? And he's gonna be stalking that dude. And when he gets that guy, he's going to beat him up. And if the guy sends other people in his place, he's going to deal with them too, because he's angry. Okay. So our Messiah suffered because of the tremendous love that he had for his wife. Let's continue. Let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 53. So now the question is being asked here about this thing here. And this first part actually connects to Joseph. And we're just going to talk through it a little bit because of time's sake. But it connects back to Joseph. Let's read and see what's going on.
53:1. Who have believed our reports, and to whom is the arm of Yah revealed?
Now, when you read the story of Joseph, wasn't there an instance where Joseph was a reporter? He reported the life of the brethren.
Yes.
He always reporting back certain things
to his father.
To his father, what was going on with his brethren, and they didn't like it. Who was the information was revealed also to Joseph. Joseph, from a very early age, was being set up as being a type of the Messiah. From a very early age.
Yes.
Early age, okay? Now let's see if this is Joseph also, verses 2.
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
Isn't that Joseph? Didn't he grow up as a tender plant among his brethren? Read.
And as a root out of a dry ground.
Wasn't his brethren like a dry ground? Reuben messed around with daddy's wives, and the knucklehead Judah went and took a Canaanite as a wife, and all kinds of crazy stuff. These men's heart was hard, dry as the ground. Joseph was the only one that made Jacob smile. The only one. Read.
Yes, because he was the children were from a contract that he didn't work for.
Right, right.
He never worked for that contract. He only worked for 14 years for the one.
Let's read on.
He have no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
Now, Joseph was a handsome guy, but in the eyes of his brothers, he was the ugliest looking dude around. We can't stand him. Whenever they see him coming, they want somewhere else. That's why when they were supposed to bring the sheep to a certain place, Jacob says, go look for your brothers, bring some stuff for them. This is where they are. They're down the street, turn here, blah, 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 all the directions. And here's the GPS. You can find them, right? And when he got there, he's like, I don't see my brothers. But the angel, the Most High, showed up and says, okay, you're looking for your brothers, right? If you bank the corner, turn to that tree over there, you're gonna see them hiding from you. They can't stand you. Realign the GPS, put a little extra something in there. I was able to find him. So we're reading the Messiah and Joseph's life right in this thing right here. Go ahead and read.
In that story where he told him where to go, he actually sent him to they went west.
They went where?
So there is west.
And
so
Galilee is where?
It's west, but it's
the
also
west.
talking about west.
Mm-hmm.
That they've migrated from the east and they've gone west.
And where's the west?
We are in the west.
Mm.
Okay, so the prophecy is really deep. It's just you just scratching the surface of
That's
this.
right. That's right.
You know, yes.
We don't want to
So
see
it's
any
not
smoke.
from there. It's from there to here to
That's
all the
right.
way to the end of time.
That's right.
That's what he's doing.
That's right.
Okay.
It's very, very deep, brethren.
Mhm.
Let's read on. He verses 3.
He have no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief.
So wasn't Joseph acquainted with grief?
Yes.
His brethren rejected him. The Ishmaelites didn't like him too much. He went into Potiphar's house. They didn't like him too much. Kick him around. Right? The wife gave him a lot of grief. Then when he got to a certain point, they put him in prison, the king's prison now. Federal prison, from the state prison to the federal prison. Grief after grief. And then when he finally got a little status, right, his name was changed from one name to the other. Yeshua was changed from one to the other. From Elohim, that we all know in the scriptures, to Yahushua, which is Yah saves, salvages, right? So when he got to that point, he also got grief from his brethren again. He had to put them to the test.
Why was he a troublemaker?
Well, in the eyes of his brethren, yes, he was a troublemaker. And let me tell you something.
But there's a reason for that.
The pattern falls upon us as Hebrews.
Yeah.
Because when we take on the Messiah, we take on the whole package.
Troublemakers.
When you marry somebody,
Yes.
you take on the in-laws and the outlaws. And he's like, honey, you sure you want to go by your mama? I don't think I want to go over there this weekend.
Good for you.
It's not me. Uh-oh. All right, that's it. We're done. Class is over. Dismiss. Let's shut it down. Can we stay in the subject?
Wait,
I mean, I'm just saying that because
you poked on it.
when we are going against
the grain,
against the flow, you know, a lot of people, they're gonna come our way and they're gonna try to make us look like we are troublemakers.
That's right.
But in reality, that's what we got to do, because everything is set up in this economy, in this society, against the Most High. So when you go against everything, but you are in favor of the Most High, so you're gonna be a troublemaker.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm just saying this because so our brothers can have courage and hey, don't worry about this society talk and say about you. As long as you know that you're doing what you gotta do, just keep pushing forward.
That's right.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
and Yeshua made my yoke. He says to the disciples, I'm trying to. But they themselves would also say, I will show you how much you must suffer for my name's sake.
Yeah.
It is something that automatically, when you receive him, boom, you become as the Messiah.
Yes.
Not the Messiah, but you go through the same suffering, the same thing that he goes through. That's why he said, listen, you can't put yourself to the plow and then look back, because you can't do that. Let's read on,
because once the word is inside of you, you know, you can't help it. It's just a rebuke to anybody who comes around you, you know, that doesn't want to follow the truth. You're gonna be an automatic rebuke, because every word you say, it's an offense to them.
That's right.
You know.
And also, like, the word is created to bring everything back to the right way, you know, like to get everything straight up, because everything right now is twisted.
Crooked.
Yes.
So, and a lot of people say like confrontation, but that's what you got to do with problem. Confront the problem, solve the problem, and keep moving. But a lot of people, they just want to like ignore the problem
Yeah.
because they don't want the confrontation. They don't want the hard time.
Right.
That's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Hallelujah.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Let's read on some more.
And verse 3.
Everybody's okay so far? Okay.
He is despised
He's despised.
and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him.
We hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was what?
He was despised, and we esteem him not.
Mm-hmm.
Surely he have borne our griefs and carried our sorrows.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Yah, and afflicted.
Now, didn't Joseph made a statement where he says, when the brethren says they were concerned that because of all the crimes they committed, and now he's in power,
Yes.
they're thinking that he's going to take revenge.
Yes.
And what did Joseph say? Let's get that.
Yes, that's it.
What did he say?
Yes, he said, am I in God's plea? That Yah actually was the one who did that.
When he made that statement, he was pronouncing that he is the Messiah. Yeah. We got to watch what's happening. Yeshua was trying to tell us a lot of stuff here. When he made that statement, he was saying, listen, you're speaking to the Messiah. So yeah, let's get that part. Is it 45? Is it 45? What verse? Oh, okay. Verses 6. Let's start at verses 1. Genesis 45 and 1. Genesis 45 and verses 1. So we can see the parallels in how Joseph, his life cycle, okay, his life was a type of Messiah. Read.
Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren.
Notice that the heathen had to be removed from his presence so that he could make himself known to who? Only his family.
Yes.
This is why this whole teaching about bringing heathen into our business doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, read on.
Verse 2, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence.
See, again, his presence, same thing. You want to say something?
Because when he was on the cross, he cried aloud. Everybody heard him.
Is my father yet alive? And he says, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Absolutely. Y'all starting to see the pictures coming out even more. Verses 4.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt.
I'm Yeshua, whom you sold to the Romans. Read.
Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves, that you sold me hither, for Yah did send me before you to preserve life.
See that? He sent me to preserve your life, not the life of everybody else. Yes. But indirectly, by saving them, the other nations benefited because of the famine and so forth. But the other nations became servants. We didn't become servants. There's a difference. So when the kingdom is restored again, we're going to be close to the Messiah, and they're going to be serving us. Because in order for them to live, the only place they can get bread and water is from us. If they don't humble themselves and subject themselves and says, hey, we give up the Cadillac, we get rid of the house, all that is left is our bodies and our children, Either we want to stay alive. We don't have pride like that, so we want to stay alive. So we're going to serve you all, Hebrews. All right.
I want to read 50 and verse 16. 50 and 16.
Was that it? Okay, 50.
Yeah, chapter
Genesis
50
45?
of Genesis. Yeah, he said something there too that I want to bring out.
Chapter 50.
Yes.
Okay, let's get it.
Verse 15.
Well, hold on. Verses 15.
And down.
Okay, let's read.
And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly require us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin. For they did unto thee evil, and now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of thy Elohim, the Elohim of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of Yah? But as for you, you thought evil against me, but Yah meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive.
See that?
Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them.
All right, so let's go back to Isaiah. Surely he have borne, verses 4.
Hang on, let me go back.
So we see that this is Joseph. Yeshua is Joseph, and Joseph is Yeshua. Okay.
Surely he have borne our grief and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Yah, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray.
So everything that Joseph experienced was for the salvation of his people. They didn't understand it, but he tried to make them understand it. Even Jacob himself, he was like kind of quiet about certain things. The Most High took his role as Messiah in a sense and put that on Joseph. That's why Joseph his son received a double portion, and his son was to be, which is Ephraim, the head. And if you look at the way the Most High set up Israel, Ephraim is right at the top.
Yes.
Okay? Right at the top, and a fruitful yes. Vine. Okay?
Yes, they actually become the first. Yeah.
And when Joseph was presumed dead, Benjamin was the one who took the mantle. And who was the one that got anointed king first?
Saul.
Benjamin got anointed king first. Then Judah. So you see how the patterns are all there, letting us know how things were set up from the very beginning.
Yeah.
We can go on and on and on. The Bible was not written by some guy who was smoking a reefer that day. It was put together very, very carefully. Yes.
And who succeeded Moses was Joshua. He was from Ephraim.
That's right.
Yes.
Ephraim.
Yes.
So
Ephraim
you had the priests, you had Ephraim, Benjamin, these were the ones who actually took the stand. Okay.
Yes.
Let's continue. All we. Who's that?
He was the one who led them across the Jordan into the promised land.
He wasn't per se the first judge. He just took the mantle of Moses and continued on. The judges were mostly the men themselves of each tribe, the heads of each tribe. But Caleb and Caleb was from
Judah, yes,
and Joshua was from Ephraim.
Yes.
And right at the beginning, we have the two houses of Israel thematically in front of our faces.
Yes.
You have one, which is the southern kingdom, and you have the northern kingdom, which is Joshua.
But it shows you is the northern kingdom is the one leading into.
So you had the two heads from the beginning all the way through.
Yes.
Okay. That's the prodigal son, which is the youngest son. And you had the oldest son, which is Judah. The oldest son always stay close to daddy. The oldest one. That's the Judah. That's why Judah, the Most High gave Judah some lashes, 70 years in captivity, then bring him back home. He wasn't too far. But the prodigal son, which is Ephraim, was far away. You understand that? And remember when the people that was close by, who put on the garments, acted like they came from a far distance. When did this event happen?
That was when
under Joshua.
Under Joshua.
And Joshua is Ephraim.
Yes.
So the roles are interchanging back and forth. The same people came as a stranger, but they actually live in the vicinity. Their clothing depict them that they came from a far journey. Joshua made a covenant with them. Oh my God, just went flying. Joshua made a covenant with them. Joshua took the responsibility. And the same way that when a woman makes a vow and a man says nothing, the husband says nothing, he has to bear that responsibility.
Yes.
And also when you look at it, they come from the east. What is the farthest that you can go from the east?
All the way over here. Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
So we can see the pattern throughout the scripture. The more you look, you'll be like, I'm starting to see stuff. You have a Bible, you have a geography book, you have decoded. You know, let's continue.
Yes.
Verse 6.
All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and ye have laid on him the iniquity of us all.
All right. So now, what has happened to the wife? Because Israel, co-Israel, the whole body of Israel, I'm Israel, the whole body is the wife. And we read that in Isaiah 54. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 54.
1.
And verses 1. Where we can see clearly. I want to make sure that our brethren can see that out of the mouth of the Most High, not from my mouth, that he's saying who his wife is. Okay.
You can read that in verse 6, 5 and 6, where he talk about the husband and then he talk about the wife.
Yeah, let's get verses 1 first. It's right here.
Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear.
Didn't Mama Sarai, was she barren?
Yeah,
barren?
She didn't bear, yes.
Rachel?
I mean, you go down the list. So was Rebecca.
Israel.
Rebecca,
Right.
likewise.
Read.
Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahuwah.
Let's skip on to verses 5.
For thy maker is thine husband, Yah of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Yah of the whole earth, Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called.
Verses 6.
For Yah have called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou was refused, saith Yah Elohim.
Not to say she was refused, like it was more in the light of, I can't have children. I feel like I'm refused. There's no connection. This seed is not bonding with me, and I don't feel a connection to my husband. That's Rachel, right?
Yeah.
As a woman forsaken, grieved, she's always complaining. Why don't you give me a child? Jacob says, Am I
God's
God?
Place? Yeah.
In God's place?
Yeah.
Same statement you see. Joseph said the same thing with his brethren. It's the same language, the same script, just being rehashed over and over and over, letting us know this is a Hebrew book.
Yeah.
Samuel's mom. That's right.
Hannah. Yeah.
So a woman grieved,
Sarah
forsaken.
says, my wrong be upon you. So what she was saying, he bears her wrong.
Somebody okay? Like an earthquake over there. Adam? Oh.
Yeah. You all right, mother?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So verses 5, your maker is your husband.
Yeah.
And who's your husband? He's called the Elohim
of the whole earth.
Of the whole earth, but he is what? The Redeemer, the Holy One, your Redeemer, Holy One of Israel. Redemption is done by silver. Silver is the shekel that we use for redemption. Okay. So let's go back to Isaiah. So the iniquity of the whole house of Israel, which is the wife, which is as you see on the screen, Eve, she sinned. Adam took the place. He's like, my wife messed up. I'm going to bear the consequences and whatever price that, because you don't see Eve dying. She could have been killed. If we have to pay the price for our actions, for all the idolatry and the things that we did to our Elohim, we would have been erased from this earth. But because he knew that the price was too high, he says, I'm going to pay the bill for that. And the father says, son, are you going to do it? Now, there's other scriptures that we can go into, but we won't have time to show that, to show the actual burden of that, where he has to absorb, and this is where he becomes a suffering servant. Okay. Let's continue on. Verses 7.
He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth.
Joseph went through the same thing. He had no voice the first time with Potiphar, and he didn't have a voice when the men promised, I will remember you. Yeah. It's only till later on at the feast of the king, when
the dreams came about.
The dream came about, the feast. The king had a feast.
His birthday.
And then the guy who was carrying the wine told, but the guy who was carrying the bread, he died. His body was broken. The bread and the wine. Two guys who suffered the same fate as Joseph in prison. One of them had a dream about grapes and wine. The other one had a dream about birds picking the bread.
The bread out of the basket.
The basket was on his head. We all went through that already. The basket is symbolic of the crown that was on the thorn.
Yeah.
That was on his head.
Plant-based material.
Plant-based material. So symbolically, the Bible was telling us, look at it again. Take a second look. And I'm showing you the Messiah right here in the volume of the book. Joseph went through suffering. Guess what? I got to go through suffering too. I can't skip over that part. And then later on, Joseph becomes second. Pharaoh's the only one to the top, adopting him as his only son, giving him the ring. So the father says, son, here's my mantle. I'm going to pass this on to you. You are going to represent me on the face of this earth.
Yes.
And all power. The only thing is that I'm the head of chief of all things. And the buck stops here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's why he says, only in the throne will I be greater than you.
That's it. Okay. Let's continue on. He was
taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation?
Oh, isn't that interesting? Jacob was in prison. Joseph, thank you. Joseph was in prison as if Jacob was in prison too, because when Joseph suffered, the father was grieving too. Exactly. He was imprisoned. And the Bible says, who's going to declare his generation? In other words, is he going to have any children? Because after all, he was presumed dead. The father looked at the clothing that was torn up. The brothers put together some story and says, well, a wild animal tore his flesh and whatnot. And the Bible says he also was declared dead. Let's continue on.
For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
For the transgression of the whole world was he stricken.
Transgression of my people was he stricken.
How can churchianity miss this small piece, but a big piece of the puzzle?
Because that's
They come around, like you said, Kifa, Jehovah Witness, talking about the whole world and this and that and the other. And every Easter, they talk about the crucifixion of Christ. And when you tell them that he only came for his people, that's the reason why the Christ that they follow is the false Messiah. They follow a false Messiah. It is not the Messiah who is going to redeem this earth, who is going to bring peace on this earth. It's a false one. That one is a one of confusion. And the people every year following the same, because if the prophets are saying, the Most High put the word within the prophets, speak these words. These are my words. I don't change. And the prophet says he's going to be smitten. Who's going to declare his generation? And for the transgression of my people was he stricken. And then later on, something else happened where he died for the whole world. Right away, that whole thing is wrong. That means that God is lying. Yes, Ella.
You know, the enemy have to make a story similar to
That's right.
A life of Christ, crucifixion and everything. So the enemy have to do something just like that. And these people will follow it, and then they're going to, as they steal all the different things, and they make it is their own. That's why they put John 3:16.
Right, Goldilocks again. She come into the house, she look around, she says, okay, that's my house, my bed, my everything. You want to say something, sis?
Quoted so many times in church, but I never heard verse 8.
Oh, they skip over that.
Yeah, because who has heard his report? Who can believe this? He was wounded for transgression, and you hear that during Easter, but I've never heard verse 8.
And it's clear. It says, "For the transgression of my wife was he stricken." My woman. That's why when you go back to Genesis, it says, "By the sweat of your brow
you shall eat
the bread."
Thorns
and thistles. It's right on the
shall
screen.
it bring forth unto you.
Adam had to deal with the thorns. That was a sign that the Messiah also had to deal with the
thorns.
Adam had to reap bread with the sweat. The Messiah had the bread, and then he had the sweat. And he, as a matter of fact, when he was there, he was like in great agony.
He was in the garden too. Remember the
great
garden?
agony. He was like, I wish I can let this thing pass.
Yeah.
I can see what I got to go through. Thank you. And it's painful. And Adam saw in how hard it was already. Because before in the garden, you just have to pick the grapes off the tree, Just, what do you want, wife? Can you reach that one? That one right there. Okay, all right, honey. Pick that thing. There you go, baby. Right? But now he got to, oh man, I got to throw that pickaxe in the thing. It's clay and rock. I got to pulverize the stone. I got to pull. Kifa, come on now. You got to pull another shift. Man, I can't even get some rest. Abba, remember me. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. That's why Shaul says, he that find a wife find a good thing, right? But those of you who want to,
Shaul, it's Solomon.
Yeah, I know, but he kind of quoted from that. But if you take a wife, you're gonna have trouble in the what?
In the flesh.
In the flesh. Be like me, but if you want to take a wife, trouble in the flesh.
Not you. It says she shall have trouble in the flesh.
He didn't say anything about she shall have trouble in the flesh.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's what Shaul said?
Yes, he said, you misquoted. It says, you take a virgin, she shall have trouble in the flesh.
No, I'm talking about where you see this, what I got to go through. All right. I know what I'm saying. Let's go back to the thing. I told you the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. Pray for me, brethren. Okay, so let's read verses 9.
And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth.
Wasn't Joseph calm, cool, kind, made his master rich and everything else? And yet he was declared dead more than once. They threw him into the pit. And the Bible says they pull him out of the pit. When they pulled him out, it was almost as if they pulled water. There's a scripture that goes into that too. Let's continue on. No violence. There's no deceit in his mouth. He told them the truth.
Mhm.
He said, I didn't sleep with that woman. I didn't mess with any other woman. Read.
Yet it pleased Yah to bruise him.
Mhm.
He have put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin.
Did Yeshua mess with another woman?
No.
He was only married to which woman? Israel.
His bride.
Did Joseph mess around with another man's wife?
No.
He only dealt with, and the woman that he took as his wife was a daughter of a priest. Yeshua is coming back for a woman who is also royal priesthood. Everything is right there in front of our eyes. Verses 11.
Mm-hmm. He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities.
Remember, it says the iniquity of the transgression of his people. Bearing their iniquities should not be retranslated to mean the whole world. Again, it's speaking about specifically Israel. Verses 12.
Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong. Because he have poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
Now let's go to, he made intercession for who? Now remember when Joseph was in Egypt, he petitioned Pharaoh for his people. Right? That's intercession. He petitioned not just for his people, but also after he got his people cleared across the border into Goshen. Remember, he says, my people are shepherds, and made a deal and got them a good piece of earth with the nice property. Let's work on that, Ephraim. Right? You got to petition so we can get that nice piece of property, Ephraim. You're messing up. Anyway, and then also we find Yeshua is making a petition for our location too.
Moving to that property.
That's not the real property, but it's good enough. Brother Pinkas, Mike is yours. What's on your mind, brother?
Shalom, shalom. It was interesting topic. Just briefly, I was talking to a person from Christianity just recently, and he was saying that when I asked him the question about who was given the commandments, and he said rightfully he said Israel, and then he said but the gospel was given to the whole world. So I steered the conversation this way. I said, well, when you read Luke chapter 1 verse 68 to 74, it says who the Messiah came for and and what was his purpose. And then I also questioned him. I told him about Abraham received the gospel. What gospel did Abraham receive? And he couldn't bring it up. But in the same Luke chapter 1, 68 to 74 talks about the oath of Abraham and what he believed was the gospel. So we gotta be mindful, because a lot of Christians, and I'm not trying to bash them or anything, but they would come with a mindset trying to steer you or trying to convert you back to that mindset. But if you're good with the scriptures in terms of knowing how they think, and you know your scriptures personally, you can basically show them that they are wrong and they need to really think about what they're teaching people, because it's incorrect to say that the gospel is for the whole world when it really wasn't. It's a witness against them for what they did to us, but it was intended for Israel, for a broken people, to restore them back to the covenant of the Messiah.
Hallelujah. Absolutely right. You know, when you see these movies where the rich man will come to the penthouse and there's a guy at the door, a butler, right? Christianity has the roles upside down. So the guy who has access to all the wealth in the building or whatever it is, in that high rise or something, he would, you know, he goes in, he comes back, he would slip the guy a little change in his hand, right? Christianity have it flipped the other way around. Whereas the ones who have access to the riches is supposed to be them. And they want to give us the little $5 or $20 in our pocket. No, the way that the Most High set it up is that we have access to the whole thing, and they have to hold the door for us. And by holding the door for us, we're going to give you a little 20, a little 100 in your pocket. Now, you should be happy to know that at least you are at the door and you got a decent job and you have access to meet me personally, right? And have access to my building. That's a privilege. And certain information that everybody else, other people don't know, you may know a little bit more about me. You may know how I, you know, what times I come in or times I go out. That's understanding your role as a servant, not for you to go over. And the problem is that this whole thing has been just, it's a mess. Anyway.
Shalom, may I say something?
Sure.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
When I look at the title that you have, I look at our people on a whole also, because we are actually made to serve in this world, and we're the ones that suffering from even our service. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you a small example. We would give, like a brother said to me the other day, he was like, man, I go to this class to learn from the white man, and the white man is taking, you know, medicine, herbs, and he's making medicine, and he's, you know, making tinctures and homeopathic medicine from it, right? And then he says, but the thing is this is stuff that we know how to do from young. He said, but the difference is the white man is going to get rich off of it. So I said to him, you know, that's the problem with our people. I said, our people never think, and that's why the Most High said the children of the world are smarter than we are. We would give that education to them for free, thinking that we're doing them a service or even saving their lives. But at the same time, we put ourselves at jeopardy in losing that information, because in the end, we still end up having to pay for it. Because I look at my aunt and many of my uncles and a lot of my family that is even back in the islands, and I see them suffering from things. But then I remember when we were growing up, these very same older people are the ones who was telling me, hey, this bush is good for that, that bush is good for that. But yet still, when they're ready, they go to the hospital. But they're still willing, in a sense, to serve, meaning to get back that knowledge. But at the same time, you know, they have to go and they have to labor so much to get the very knowledge that they gave away for free and pay for it at the same time. So I'm actually, when I look at it, I see that Israel on a whole, the people who actually are the chosen of the Most High, are suffering as he is suffering. And that's just a simple example, but I could have go even deeper. I didn't want to take too much time though.
Appreciate the sharing those things. I want to go to the book of Joshua real quick. And let me go to Joshua chapter 42. Remember, there's a portion. This is a part that you don't find in the regular 66 books in the Torah. But Joshua gives us, remember it talks about Yeshua was smitten. They hit him on his face, you know, hit him. All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 42. And let me pull this up. Verses 27. Let me make it a little bit bigger. The book of Joshua chapter 42. Now, this is when Joseph was taken prisoner and he was, let me put it this way. The suffering of Joseph, the scene of the time of Joseph going from his brethren to the heathen, let's put it that way, is equivalent to the Messiah being moved from his brethren and given over to the heathens, the Romans, and even some of the leadership, okay, the Romans and stuff like that, okay. Joseph also went through when he went from his brethren into the hands of his cousins and into the heathen and so forth. And the whole situation that he went through, we can find some of that, we can glean some of those pieces to understand the role of the Messiah. So let's go to Joshua 42 and we'll go to verses 27, because we have a situation where Joseph was beaten. And let's go right here, verses 27. Read for me.
And one of the Ishmaelites rose up and smote Joseph upon the cheek, just like they did to the Messiah.
Read.
And still he continued to weep. And Joseph was fatigued in the road.
Remember the Messiah having to carry that cross? They took him back from one place to the other. Joseph went from one hand to the other. The Midianites, Ishmaelites, back and forth, okay? He was bargained back and forth. Read.
And was unable to proceed on account of the bitterness of his soul.
He couldn't move, so what happened? Read.
And they all smote him and afflicted him in the road.
In the road. Read.
And they terrified him in order that he might cease from weeping.
See that? Read a little bit more.
And Yah saw the ambition of Joseph and his trouble.
Read.
And Yah brought down upon those men darkness and confusion, and the hand of every one that smote him became withered.
Remember, Herod, is it Herod? Wife says, "Don't mess with this dude."
Yes, because
I had too many troubles, and then he took some water and he did what?
Wash his hands.
Pilate's wife. Thank you.
Yeah, Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, I had too much trouble with this guy, so just stay out of his whole business. And he washed his hand from this thing, right? Anyway, but what I wanted to bring from this real quick was just simply, and y'all can do the homework and pick more things out of it, but I just wanted to fly over. I don't want to bring the plane too close to the ground. I want to fly over, and y'all can snap and says, okay, we'll come back and visit these places, all right? Snapshots, okay? All right, so we can see that Joseph also got slapped up, beat down in the road. And the Lord saw the ambition of Joseph and his trouble, and the Lord brought, verses 28, down upon those men darkness and confusion. Imagine that. So let's continue. We're going to go to Psalms 22, and we'll try to make this our last book. We have little Hebrewisses, and the leader of the Hebrewisses, I want him to make sure he looks at me. He's not going to look at me sideways, and I'm going to become as Joseph to him. We know we got some good cake up there too. Some good cake. I almost got in trouble last night for a piece of that cake. Oh yeah, believe you me. There wasn't much speaking after that thing happened. I tried to sneak out a little piece last night, and I got scolded and I had to go straight to my room. Oh yeah, trust me. The scolding was so bad that even when the piece of cake was offered, I couldn't take it. It was too late. And that was all for you, brother. You see, and so as Joseph said,
He said it was for the guests.
I had to go through that, not because I had to save you a piece. Okay, verses 1, let's read. This is prophecy about the suffering of the Messiah, and we're going to link this up with the book of Job, parts of the book of Job, okay? You're going to see Job's life. What he went through was the Messiah's life too, okay? So let's read. Psalms 22 and verses 1.
My Elohim, my Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me?
Where have you heard that before?
Joseph said that also. Yeshua
Joseph
said
was
it.
afflicted. He said those words.
Mm-hmm.
Also remember Yeshua on the tree.
Yes.
When he was in the tree, Father, you know.
Yes.
Eli Sabachthani, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read.
But he also said, yeah, it's where it says, my God, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani.
Mm-hmm. Read.
Oh, my Elohim, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent.
Mm-hmm.
But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel.
Inhabited the whole world. The praises of the whole world.
Israel.
So you mean to tell me when I jump up and down with my jumping rope in the church, up and down, up and down, up and down, and I'm praising the banner of the denomination, that he's not inhabiting those praises?
No.
Huh? We're reading it right in front of us. I'm not saying anything that is perverted. Is right there. You are holy, you are set apart. You that inhabiting, holding, right, the praises of Israel. Read.
These are actually what they're doing is actually Baal worship, whether they like to believe it or not, but that's what they're doing because they're not giving the glory to the true Elohim. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded. But I am a worm and no man.
I'm a what?
A worm.
He says he's a worm. Now, that is interesting speech because Job also said the same thing. Let's pause for a moment. Let's go to Job 19.
And also Jonah.
And remember, they call us little sperms now to mock us too.
So Jonah also went through something, but let's see. Job 19 and Job. This little print here. Job 19. And we're going to take a peek at verses 26. Job 19 and 26. This is what? 19 and 26. Job 19 and 26. I'm sure you may see it other places.
Read from 25, brother, you know.
25 and 6. Okay. 25 and verses 6. Let's see.
No, it's saying read from verse 25.
That's a good one, 25 and 6. We'll take that too. What did you say, Brother Shema?
He said read.
No, it's saying read from verse 25 on the same scripture that you just had.
Yeah, let's do that.
For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see Elohim, Yahuwah.
So worms, when worms is covering your body, is as if you are become the worm because they're eating your flesh and they're becoming you. You are becoming the worm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. So let's read verses chapter 25, which is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll read verses 6, 25 and 6. So we'll come back to Job again, back and forth, 25 and verses 6.
How much less man that is a worm, and the Son of Man, which is a worm.
You think he's prophesying here? The same way as Psalms? But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despise of the people. It's talking about the Messiah.
Yes. And the one with Jonah is interesting too when he took the worm and destroyed the gourd. In that sense, he's saying that worm, what it does, it would when it dies, it would die in order that its young would feed on its own flesh.
Right.
So they can survive.
Now we know the Messiah himself didn't get eaten with worms. but it's talking about the suffering. Job is saying, I'm suffering like this. Okay, and this is a very bad state I'm in. Go ahead. You want to say something?
This one was good.
I just want to say greetings to all the listeners on the air right now that's listening and that's participating within the class. It's amazing how you'd get people say, and the different Christianities and people that really doesn't study or read the Bible, they tell you, well, the Old Testament is done away. But as you read in Psalms 22, verse 1, it correlates with Mark 15:34, where it's basically the same words that's said. And there is a mirrored image of everything that's in the Old Testament is being brought forth in the New Testament. And it's a confusion that I don't know why they do it, but I guess it's just a method of doing things, but it's basically to set up confusion that people wouldn't understand. Amen.
All right, so we're going to try our best to pick up some speed here, as we all can see the connections between the two. Keep mentioning the mirror. The connections between them. There's all there. It's all intertwined. Let's continue with the reading, because we're going to be going back and forth to Job just a little bit and try to wrap it up, okay? Go ahead and read verses 7.
All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying,
Read.
He trusted on Yahuwah that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, saying he delighted in him.
Now, David himself was not going through these things, so David was doing what?
Prophesying.
That's right. He was prophesying.
Yes.
So, who was the one that said these words?
Well, the Pharisees, or the people that were at the cross, said that let God deliver him.
Where
if he
can we
called
find
upon
that?
In the same scripture that he just quoted.
That Kiefer just mentioned.
Yes. Luke,
Mark
15. It's actually in Luke, and it's also in Matthew.
Which one you all want me to go to?
It
Luke,
doesn't matter whichever
Mark,
one.
Which one? Okay, Mark 15. Mark 15 and 34. 15 and 34. Is that the one we want to match it up? All right, let's read 36 is good. We can use that one.
Okay. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, let us see whether Elias will come to take him down.
So to take him down means to deliver him.
Yes.
Right. We can go more into that, but it matches up. It lines up. You want to go to Luke?
Yes.
Okay. Brethren said, let's go to Luke real quick.
You have to find the
Luke, which one? 23. And what verse? 23 and 26. Oh, okay. We just want to get straight to the point. Verses 35. And the people stood beholden, and the rulers also with them derided him. What's deriding? Mocking, saying, he saved others, let him save himself. If he be the Christ, the anointed one of Elohim, the chosen of Elohim. Right on the mark, okay? So it mentions about the scorning. Job was also scorned. Let me see if we can get one in Job real quick. Job 12, I believe it is. And verses 4, 12 and 4. Yep, here it is. Job 12 and verses 4. Let's read that. So when Job was going through Satan on his back, everybody forsaked him. He was brought so low, like he was just about to die. That's why the Lord says, the Father said, you can do whatever you want, but you just can't take his life. Why? because Job can't resurrect himself. But Yeshua's life can be taken because why? He can resurrect himself. So bring him down to the point as if he's dead. Worms on him. It's just a real bad, smelling bad, not looking so good. No shoes. One shoe over there, one shoe, you know. His haircut don't look so good. His beard don't look so good.
And the funny thing is like his church, his wife.
Brother Yona.
1 second, Brother Shema.
And the funny thing is like his church, his wife have to do the same thing. They have to go all the way to the end, you know, because like the previous verse says, when Yeshua cried out, that's when God came and did what he did.
That's right.
When Moses cried out, when all of them cry out, and we have to cry out too in
It's a
order
good point.
for us to receive salvation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the same pattern that we all have
That's
to
an
follow
excellent
him.
point because it ties right back into the Torah when the woman have to cry out to be saved.
Exactly.
And if she don't cry out, she's going to be put to death.
Exactly.
But he cried out, and it looks like he was put to death, but he actually lived.
But the funny thing is like we have to, like the worms have to eat our flesh in order for us to cry out. So we have to be at the lowest of the lowest.
Do you think some Hebrews want to go through that? Being picked like that?
I mean, nobody wants
I'm not even
that.
speaking about the physical worms, but to be brought that low for the sake of the kingdom.
Nobody want to be down there. But in reality, when
you have to get there.
understand that you are down there or that you're going to be down there,
Mhm.
so that's the only thing that is going to give you strength to go through
That's
that
it.
process right there.
That's it.
And embrace it.
And there's a reason why our Elohim has kept us low. Because people can't have advantage of something that is low. And how low can you go? That's it. There's you know, but the ones flying high, they have a long way to fall. It's a hard fall.
And also the prophecy says, like, from the lowest of the lowest, that's the one that I chose to, you know.
Yeah.
You know the scripture that I'm trying to quote?
You'll have to ask one of the fresher minds.
Yes.
To pull it for you.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember what scripture it is, but I remember that.
Before you take the mic, Brother Shema wanted to say something too. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, notice that Job was persecuted by three, which was those three people, friends, or whatever you call them, that came and persecuted him. The same way Messiah was persecuted by the king, the government, and the people.
That's right.
And the same way that Israel is being persecuted by three, you got the church or the religious sect, you got the government or the and the authorities and everything. But when you look at it, you see similarities between the persecution at all that are connected to the Most High. And the only way that we get out of it is when we cry out.
That's right. Thanks for sharing that. Good points.
I think it was in Psalms where he talked about he exalted the lowly and he had brought down those of high looks or something like that.
Okay, Hebrews, we don't have much time, so
yeah, but that was
last scripture.
Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 1, 27 to 31.
1 Corinthians. And what was that?
From the 27 through
1 Corinthians what chapter?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Oh, chapter 1. Okay.
27 through 31.
27.
Yes, sir.
Kifa, by the way, do you want the champagne?
Yeah, you can, because I mean,
we got a couple bottles of champagne over there if you want to crack it open.
You me to read? It's 27:28.
Uh-huh.
It says, but ye have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And ye have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised have ye chosen. Yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in his presence.
So we have become as the base things also included in that package.
Yeah, what I was saying is that you cannot be exalted or put in a high position unless you know what it's like to be at the bottom.
All right, brothers and sisters, let's do this real. Let's try to pick up a little speed here. Let's try to finish up Psalms 22, and then we're done, okay? So I'm gonna just say this, brothers and sisters. In reading Psalms 22, go back into the book of Job, and make your comparisons. That's your homework. So let's read on verses Psalms 22 verses 8. Okay.
Searching back up. Okay. And we're on verse 8. He trusted on Yah that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my Elohim from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me round.
Well, let's wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Bashan. Bashan is, who's connected to Bashan? Bashan.
No, I
King
think
Og?
Jacob.
Og, that's correct.
Jacob.
It's Og.
Og, king of Bashan. Yes, that's true.
It's Og, but when you dig a little bit deeper, the Amorites, when you dig a little bit deeper, you're going to find a connection to the Edomites also. It just goes right back to Edom, okay? It goes right back to Edom. So it's saying many bulls, these are the powers. When Yeshua was on trial, he was surrounded with many bulls, many of the authorities. Bulls, they didn't say cows, because the bulls really is the power, the strength, right?
But look what they use today, the heathen. They use the bull as a sign
For
with
the market?
the markets and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Many bulls have compassed
tells you
me.
the-
Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. So he's surrounded with all these people that want to put him to death. Okay. And these are Edomites and such like. But let's read on some more.
They gaped upon me with their mouth as a ravening and a roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint.
He says he's poured out like water. He's poured out like water. Remember Joseph was in the well, and Joseph was taken out of the well. Joseph was poured out like water. And it says what?
Jeremiah
all
was
my
also in the well.
bones are out of joint. Remember Adam? Remember Jacob? But there's also a passage in the book of Chronicles. If we finish this in time, I will browse through it real quick with a hypersonic jet. And if who catches it, and those who don't catch it, will say shalom. Let me read something here. This is in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. And this is about Bashan. Bashan. Bashan, smooth, fertile land. This is on page 70 in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says smooth, fertile land, the broad, fertile region east of the Sea of Galilee. In the days of Abraham, it was occupied by a people called Rephaim. Genesis 14:5. The Nabateans held it in the 2nd century. It was included in the kingdom of Herod the Great, and then belonged to Philip, Herod's son. So Bashan, prophetically speaking, is connected to who? Herod. And Herod is who?
Edom.
Edomite.
An Edomite. So the prophecy that we read here, many bulls have compassed me, strong bulls, is talking about Herod and his entourage. You see that? So let's continue. Verses 14, my bones.
I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint.
Read.
My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels.
Read.
My strength is dried up like a potsherd.
Connecting you back to Job. Right, read.
And my tongue cleaveth to my jaws, and thou hast brought me into the dust of death.
Joseph,
for dogs have compassed me.
It says what?
Dogs have compassed me.
Who are the Romans?
Dogs.
You have the Bashan and you have the dogs. The Edomites and you have the Romans that surrounded Herod and Pilate, that had Yeshua on trial. The Gentiles,
Yes.
okay? Compass me, read.
The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet.
They pierced his hands and his feet. We all know that. That's a given. Read.
I may tell all my bones. They look and stare at me.
Now, when you say I can tell all my bones, I may tell all my bones. You what?
Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh.
That true, but skin and bones. You're just so dehydrated, lack of everything. You can just do this and say, 1, 2, 3, 14, 15. You can start counting how many ribs you have. And that's Job. And all you have to do is go back to Job and you're going to see the same thing like that. Let's go ahead and read for time's sake.
But he's also speaking about the people too, his people, bone of his bones, because said they part my garments among them. They look at him. They were standing there looking at him when he was hanged there, and stuff like that. And they said they part my garments among them and cast lots upon my vesture. But be not thou far from me, O Yah, O my strength, haste thee to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog.
Deliver me from the power of the dog.
This is Job, Brother Yona, because Job, when he lost everything was parted to whoever received it also too.
I remember Lazarus and the rich man. It says the dogs used to come and do what? Lick his sores.
Yep.
Right? It goes much deeper. We don't have time to go into all the different layers. Now, the reason why I asked Keith to pass out the champagne is because as we close out this year and we go into the new year, all of us wouldn't be able to come together on that day to say salut. But if we can, it'll be good. At least that night for a few minutes or something. I mean, in terms of through the internet, we'll see what we can do. Don't you, Moel? Did we all raise the glass yet? One accord, Hebrews. One accord, Hebrews. One accord. So I wanted us to be able to at least raise our glasses and give praises to our King. Thank him for his love and his mercy, which endures forever. So it's not intended so well. I haven't eaten yet. Don't worry about it. You're strong, Hebrews. Okay. Thank you, Elder. It's an appetizer. It opens up your appetite. So with that, let's raise our glass. Well, let's wait for Kifa.
To receive more?
Let's wait for you. No, we're waiting for you. Where's
Auntie Michelle?
Where's the rest of them? Okay. Okay, well, wherever you are, just raise your glass. L'chaim to life. May the Most High bless us and increase us and keep us and restore us even in the new year. We thank him for keeping us through the old year and much more life and life abundantly.
And may this coming year be our deliverance.
Fruitful. May the Most High bless the whole house of Israel.
Amen.
Amen.
That's good champagne. I'll save that for later so I can speak clearly. Verses 21. Let's read. Shaul says in a Christian church, you drink a little wine for the what? Stomach's sake.
But teacher, Shaul has been mentioned more than Christ. All the time, Shaul, and Christ doesn't even mention that.
All right, reader, let's pick it up. Verses 21.
Save me from the lion's mouth. For thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. Ye that fear Yah, praise him. All he, the seed of Jacob, glorify him.
All the what?
The seed of Jacob.
Okay, so do you see a denomination?
No.
Okay, let's throw that in the trash and let's move on. Verses 24.
For he have not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted. Neither have he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard.
See? Read.
My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise Yah that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto Yah.
So this is also to be added to Zephaniah 10 and 9, I think it is, where we are going to remember him in a far country and turn again. So it says all the ends of the world. It's talking about the world of the Hebrews. First shall remember and turn unto Yahuwah. Read.
And all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before him.
And that's what's going to follow. Okay, in order. Read.
For the kingdom is Yahuwah's, and he is the governor among the nations. Joseph.
That's right,
the governor.
Joseph.
All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him.
Zechariah chapter 14. If you don't come up to Israel, to Jerusalem, there'll be no rain. You're going to have famine. You're going to die. Okay? Verses 30.
And none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to Yah for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, he have done this.
Hallelujah. Now, when it says a seed shall serve him, let us not get that twisted. What seed is he referring to?
Children of Israel.
All I have to do is go back to verses 23.
Seed of Israel.
And what does it say?
Let the seed of Jacob glorify him.
Seed of Jacob.
Yes.
And if you didn't get that first one, seed of Israel. First.
Brother Yonah, can I say something?
Sure.
Well, there's a difference between a denomination and a nomination. See, Jacob was nominated or chosen according to the word by the Most High to be in the position he was. To be a denomination means that you actually been broken down to different sects or different sectors or different playing parts. So if you look at it, the Most High never said, he would say Israel and Judah, but we all know it as one house, which is the house of Israel. But when you look at the church, they're denominated into different sects. So if you look at the definitions, you'll understand why the churches use denomination and why when we look at Israel, it actually was a nomination and not a denomination.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Now we have finished up Psalms 22, and we're almost about to close up. In the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 18, was there something, Ima? Okay. Don't let the champagne do things, miracles, signs, and wonders, okay? Some of y'all Hebrews. Without food. Yes, please do, brother, please. We need a strong. Between those two elders right there, you have to keep an eye on them. That's good. Especially that one that speaks Espanol. Keep an eye on him. In 2 Chronicles chapter 18, we're going to fly the supersonic jet over. 2 Chronicles. And y'all can take the time and do the homework on this. There is a lot of thematic stuff here. It actually covers the sign of the Messiah in such a hidden way that if you haven't gone through the exercises before, you're not going to really see this one, but it's there. So we have a story about Jehoshaphat and Ahab. Jehoshaphat and Ahab, two kings who were like buddies to some point. Jehoshaphat was from the kingdom of Judah, and Ahab was from the northern 10 tribes, okay? And they all came together to try to make a move to do some war. This is also equivalent to when the leadership of Israel came together to make a decision about some moves that they were going to make. Now, when you read into it, you have a certain prophet that showed up in the middle of the whole thing. This prophet is equivalent to who? The Messiah. Let's go right to it. Micaiah, okay? So let's read a little taste of it.
Micaiah.
Uh-huh. Let's go to verses 7.
Mm-hmm. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat.
Let's read from verse 6. I'm sorry, verse 6.
But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not a prophet of Yah besides that we may inquire of him?
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yahuwah.
Now let me just set this up a little bit. Jehoshaphat is a king representing Judah, but in a way, later on, the roles change. He becomes a type of Messiah. He becomes a type of Messiah. Ahab, being the bad guy, is also a type of the Messiah. Just like you had two guys with Joseph. When Joseph was in prison, you had the wine bearer. He was a good guy. He was innocent. He didn't steal anything. And you had the bad dude, which is the baker, the big belly one. All the bread, the sweets, right? So he was the one that was a bad guy, but at the same time, the good thing that we can extract from that was that they both represented the Messiah. So both Jehoshaphat is the Messiah and Ahab is the Messiah. We'll show those things there real quick. But the prophet also is the Messiah. The roles are there. But when you read the thing, it's like you're not seeing that. But as you look at the roles, what they did, yes.
Yes, but the baker, like you said, the fat guy, if you look at it carefully, he's talking about Passover and he's talking about atonement.
Right.
Because the one that had the grapes was the Passover, but the one that had the bread, the fat guy, which was the baker, he was the one that was for the sin.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because fat represents sin. You see what I'm saying to you? So the taking away of the sin was the Day of Atonement. So he had the two of them right there, the two feasts in the 6 months apart, was right between the two of them.
All right, let's read and let's withhold any other comments until we have gone through this. And then we got to say shalom, okay? Because we don't want the champagne to kick in and then you see another roll of this brother right here coming out. Go ahead and read verse 7.
Mm-hmm. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yah, but I hate him.
But I do what?
I hate him.
We have one prophet, but we hate him. Read.
Mm-hmm. For he never prophesied good unto me, but always evil. The same is Micaiah, the son of Imlah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. And the king of Israel called for one of his officers and said, Fetch quickly Micaiah, the son of Imlah.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, sat either of them on his throne, clothed in their robes, and they sat in a void place at the entering in of the gate of Samaria.
When we see the word gate that is used here, is dealing with courts or laws or places to make decision. So in a way, when you look at the Messiah, he was surrounded with men who judged him. Okay, go ahead.
And all the prophets prophesy before them.
Mm-hmm. All the wise men, the chief priests, read.
And Zedekiah, the son of Cheananah, had made him horns of iron, and said, Thus saith Yah, with these thou shalt push Syria until they be consumed.
False prophet. Now remember, during the time of Messiah, Yeshua, there were false people coming up and saying stuff, right? But let's continue on.
And all the prophets prophesy, so saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yah shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And the messenger that went to call Micaiah spake to him, saying, Behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king with one accent. Let thy word, therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak thou good.
Read.
And Micaiah said, As Yah liveth, even what my Elohim saith, that will I speak.
Read.
And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear?
Yeshua used to speak words of destruction about Israel, Judah. They'll be surrounded and Jerusalem will fall right before he was put to death. Remember that? Did it happen? Yes, it did. So they never liked what he said. He says, you mean to tell me this temple was built, blah, 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 and such, and you're going to destroy
raise it in 3
He was
days?
speaking about his body, but also physically the temple too. You see? So they don't like what he was saying at all. Let's continue on.
And they shall be delivered into your hand. And the king said to him, how many times shall I adjure thee, that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of Yahuwah? Then he said,
what did he say?
Then he said, I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountains, as sheep that have no shepherd.
Now, who said that?
That's Yeshua said that.
Yeshua said the same
Yeah,
thing.
he said the exact same words.
The same words. Read.
And Yahuwah said, these have no master. Let them return, therefore, every man to his house in peace.
Strike the shepherd.
And the sheep shall be scattered.
What happened when Yeshua was stricken? They all went back to their own place.
Yes.
Fishing.
Everyone forsaken him.
Collecting taxes, whatever it was. Read.
And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me, but evil? Again he said, therefore, hear the word of Yahuwah.
Listen to this carefully.
I saw Yah sitting upon his throne, and all the host of heaven standing on his right hand
Who said
and on
that?
his left.
Who said
Stephen.
that? Stephen.
Yes.
Now, Stephen went through the ordeal just like Yeshua did, but instead of hanging on a tree, he was stoned.
Yes.
His testimony, all the way from Genesis all the way up, he gave a testimony and he lost his life. Remember I said, when you take on the mantle of the Messiah, you bear his burden.
Yes.
You go through the same ordeal.
Exactly.
So when Stephen said these words, he didn't say these words of himself. He was speaking the words of the Messiah.
Yeah.
So this connects right back to the Messiah in his speech by the same prophet. Read on.
And Yah said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
So who was the one involved in the whole thing with Messiah being crucified? Who was the one who enticed? Who was the one that went and did some deals? Judas. Read.
And one spake, saying after this manner, another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit and stood before Yah and said, I will entice him. And Yah said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
And Judas had to do what he had to do to fulfill the prophecy of Messiah being put to death. Ahab ended up dying later on. We'll catch all that. But read.
And Yah said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. Now therefore, behold, Yah have put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and Yah have spoken evil against thee. But there were also lying witnesses that came.
That's right.
Very quick, brother.
Everything was set up specifically to get the Messiah to go through that ordeal. He had to go through it.
Very quick, brother. The other part about the lying spirit is it has to be one that actually lies among them. In other words, someone that they would actually believe because he's part of them. That's what happened with Judah. He was part of Messiah, so they would accept whatever lies he tell them.
Right. Okay, let's continue on.
Then Zedekiah the son of Cheananah came near and smote Malchiah upon the cheek.
What did he do?
He smote Malchiah upon the cheek.
What happened to the Messiah?
Smote him upon the cheek.
He was smitten on the cheek. You see the rolls right there? Read.
And said, which way went the spirit of Yah from me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, behold, thou shalt see on that day when thou shalt go into the inner chamber to hide thyself.
Read.
Then the king of Israel said, take ye Micaiah and carry him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son.
They took him back to where? A governor.
The governor.
Okay. Yes. We're reading the story of the Messiah in a very cryptic way, but go ahead.
Yeah, he went back and forth.
Read.
From Herod back to Pilate. And say, thus saith the king, put this fellow in the prison, and feed him with bread of affliction, and with water of affliction until I return in peace. And Micaiah said, If thou certainly return in peace, then have not Yah spoken by me. And he said, Hearken all ye people.
Now, hold on 1 second. Now, I want you to pause for a moment, because when they smote him and they said, what was that? Which way went the spirit of Yahuwah from me to speak unto you? When we read Matthew 26, and they smote him, they followed up by making a statement too. Matthew 26, and I just had it. Where is it? Verses 68, verses 67. They spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palm of their hand, saying, Prophesy unto us, thou Christ, who is he that smote you?
Yep.
You see the theme is still there? Yes, ma'am.
Also, Brother Yona.
1 second, brother.
Paul was smitten, and they said to him, Revilest thou the high priest? So they were claiming that they were the Holy One, and that Paul wasn't. That's what I also saw with that, where they're claiming to be the Holy One.
Mm-hmm. Brother Shema?
Yeah, Kena'ana, his name actually means a horn or power. So when you were speaking about the bulls of Bashan, he was actually a man in a position of power also when he smote him. You know, when you look at what's going on, you see the similarities. Yes, you do.
So now you have about 10 Bibles in front of you, because the layers makes a new book. Let's continue on. Chronicles.
And that's only one layer.
Okay, no more points. Not inside or outside the class. No more points. Let's move on. Press on. No more points. Come on.
So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead.
Where are we? What verse?
28.
28, okay.
No, 29 now.
Mm-hmm.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and will go to the battle.
So Jehoshaphat is a type of the Messiah later on. His role will be manifest later on. The prophet was acting the role of the Messiah during the trial. Ahab is acting the role of the Messiah from this point, because now you have the faces of the Messiah. He's going to die and he's going to resurrect. Ahab is the dying part of the Messiah. Jehoshaphat is the resurrection part and the works thereafter of the Messiah. Okay, we'll see that. The trial part is the prophet. That's what the prophet went through. That's the Messiah's trial. So when Ahab disguised himself, that is also the Messiah. He's disguised to the people. Okay, he doesn't look like he says he's the king of the Jews, but he's not really the king as far as they're concerned. In the eyes of the people, he looks like a regular man, but he's really a king. In himself, he knows he's the king, but in the eyes of the people, he's this guy who look as someone else. Did I just say? Okay, Ellis, the gray hairs, I submit. Go ahead. Can you take the mic?
I think when he was walking the Emmaus Street, something like that.
Emmaus?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And he says that you're a stranger, you don't know. He disguised as somebody.
That's right. Disguise himself there too. Okay, so let's continue. Speed. Put on your robes. Yeshua's robe was removed from him. He had a priestly robe on him that was removed. They didn't part the garment. They gambled for it, but they put on another clothes on him, and he was disguised and he was crucified and such like. Let's continue on.
So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went to the battle. Now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, Fight ye not with
small or great.
With small or great, save only with the king of Israel.
So don't look for these little soldiers and fight with them. We want to cut this thing to an end. Let's find a king and kill him, and the war is over. Read.
And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Lord helped him. And Yah moved them to depart from him.
All that is prophetic of the Messiah. Read.
Yeah, because anytime he depart from them, when they try to kill him, he escaped out of their hands, remember? For it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again and from pursuing him.
Verse 33.
And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness.
Between the what?
The joints of the harness.
What happened to Jacob?
Yes.
Joints. Right?
Yes.
So do we see the connections there? Israel, the Israelite king, was smitten in his joint. You see that. The Messiah in his joint. In the book of John, chapter 11, it says, Caiaphas prophesied, he's not dying only for this people here, which is Judah, but to gather in one all the tribes of Israel that were scattered abroad.
Yes.
He died for both houses. You got, it's not happenstance that you got the two houses of Israel right here, two kings, sharing two different sides of the Messiah's role as king. The resurrected Messiah and the one who's going to die. Hidden aside, and he dies. There's more? What you got? Well, let's save it for another time. Let's continue on. I gotta keep my word. Continue on.
And the battle increased that day. Howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the even.
When did he die? Read.
And about the time of the sun going down, he died.
You see the Messiah? At the time when the sun was going down, the Messiah gave up. That's the role of the Messiah. That side. But let's go to the next chapter, and you're going to see something here. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm just going to read through some things. So Jehoshaphat returned back, verses 1, in peace to Jerusalem. So the Messiah now is manifested in this king, Jehoshaphat, who's resurrected now. And the first thing that Jehoshaphat did was the priest came to him, the prophet came to him and says, are you going to be like that wicked king? Are you going to have relationships like? He says, no. So from that point on, Jehoshaphat went through Jerusalem, and verses 5, read from there.
And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities.
Hold on, read verses 4. I'm sorry, read verses 4.
And Jehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem. And he went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim.
Why is that significant? Because Yeshua told him to stay here until a certain time, but he also says to go into Galilee, Ephraim, the place where Ephraim dwelt. Because now what we're going to start to see, let me just give you the flyover. We're going to see the role of the Messiah setting up the disciples to go out and do the work.
Yes.
Right in the story.
Yeah, also.
So Jehoshaphat is the Messiah returned from the grave. Now he has the power. Now he's given the authority to his disciples, and the disciples is setting up everything, the deacons and whatnot, to go and start to do the work. I'm just giving it away like that. You can read it and see all of those things. But go ahead and read.
I want to say one point.
No.
Please. I have to. No, it's important. Okay. The thing is that when you read in the stories also, you look at the time of the Messiah, but you also have to pay attention to what's happening today in our time. So you can understand how it's playing out, because it's also telling you that right here in the very story.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that. No, I didn't just brush her off. I appreciate that very much. I'm just trying to meditate on something here, okay? All right. Verses 5. Let's read that. Verses 5.
And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, take heed what you do, for you judge not for man, but for Yah, who is with you in the judgment.
So when you start to read what the words of Yeshua, he set these men, righteous men, that will not do certain things. Remember when you go into the book of, they had all things common. They had to select 7 honest men of good report and so forth and whatnot. That's the whole theme there. Read on.
Wherefore now let the fear of Yah be upon you. Take heed and do it, For there is no iniquity with Yah, our Elohim, no respect of persons, no taking of gifts.
Now remember, Peter said the same thing. There's no respect to a person. Why have you lied? Blah, blah, blah. Remember all that? There you go. Read.
Moreover, in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set of the Levites and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel for the judgment of Yah and for controversies when they returned to Jerusalem. And he charged them, saying, Thus shall you do in the fear of Yah faithfully with a perfect heart.
That's the 7. Remember you set up the 7? Read.
And what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in their cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, you shall even warn them that they trespass not against Yahuwah, and so wrath come upon you and upon your brethren.
So you have the 12, and then you go into the 7 and so forth. Read.
This do, and you shall not trespass. And behold, Amariah, the chief priest,
you might as well call it Peter.
Is over you in all matters of the Yahuwah.
Peter, do you love this fish and bread more than me? What did he say? Feed my lambs. Peter, do you love this fish and bread more than me? And the salad says, no, feed my lambs. Then he says, feed my sheep. Right? So he says, I'm going to build this thing on me, the church, the congregation on me. But he set Peter in charge, but he also had another one who assisted Peter. Read.
And Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah.
Call that James.
For all the king's matters, also the Levites shall be officers before you.
Call that the 7, the deacons. Read.
Deal courageously, and Yah shall be with the good.
So we just read, brethren, an example of in a volume of the book, it is written about the Messiah's role. What he had to go through to suffer. He suffered for Israel. He also set up the men who would go out and deal with matters that pertain to Israel and not other people. So I hope by the mercies of the Most High that we have all gained something. I've rushed through a lot of stuff just so we can take care of the little Hebrews. Okay? But we are grateful to our King that we had the opportunity. Let me close this out. To go through the volume of the book. And I hope that everyone has learned something. So with that said, if anyone has any final thoughts, we will allow you 30 seconds. And then we will close out, and we'll have Dochi Moel close out with prayer in Yeshua's name. And remember, Mishpachah, that not tonight, but tomorrow night, please look out for the moon. And that will let us know that the next day is going to be the first day of the first month of the year. And this is our new year after that, which more than likely looks like it's going to be on Monday. And we will continue from there on. So any comments from our brethren out there? Any comments? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any. But
yeah, I have something to say. When I look at the 2 kings, I see one of them is like the flesh, and the other one is the spirit. And what must happen is that the flesh must die in order for the spirit to actually live on, because the spirit actually yearns to be with the Most High, but the flesh, it was. And that's why Ahab was like, you know, when he got the truth, he rejected it. And it's like Messiah being in the body. You know, the flesh is weak, so the flesh actually goes after the things. It wants to go against what the spirit is willing to tell it to do. So when you look at it, you know, Ahab went and he disguised himself. The lies always disguises itself, but in the end, it ends up killing the actual person that uses it. So I just wanted to share that.
That's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. Good point. All right, brethren, any other comments? Okay, so that's it. We're going to wrap it up there. I want to thank you all for celebrating Shabbat with us. Take some time for the new year. Open a bottle of wine. Give praises to our King with your family. Celebrate before your King. And remember the whole house of Israel, as we all should. And ask the Most High.
Don't forget midday prayer.
Say again?
Midday prayer tomorrow tomorrow, 12 noon.
Absolutely. Brother Obadiah, go ahead and say what you got to say and the number.
Shalom, family, Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year. Just want to remind you guys, if you could join us tomorrow at midday prayer. Brother Doug will be leading this week. Honey, can you put the number for me? The number is 515. One second. Let me pull this number up.
Oh, you know by heart, huh? Well, I'll get it here. Let's see.
So many posts.
It is the number is 515-604-9637, and you can put in the conference code, which is 744844, and the hashtag or the pound sign, whatever that is, pound.
Okay. Thank you, Reeby.
You're welcome. Any other? And just to remind everyone, for those who want to participate in the Passover, if you're local, we still have some space, right, sister? And I want to say a special thanks to brother and sister, brother Kelvin and his lovely wife, Lydia, for making it possible for us to congregate for Pesach. And we're supposed to meet out later on tomorrow, right? 1 o'clock? Okay. So we're getting things ready for those who would like to attend. We still have some space. Just email me, agulab77@gmail.com, and we can see how many people are coming, okay? All right. Was that it? Any other comments? Okay. So with that said, brothers and sisters, we want to thank everyone for coming. I also want to say special shalom to our brother down in South Africa representing that part of the continent. Thank the Most High. I pray that the Most High increase you, bless you and your family, and that you'll be a light over there in that region. And other brothers and sisters who are other places that we know nothing of, be a light also. Let's see, we have two others. Brother in South Africa, you want to say something? I see the mic is open.
Just want to say thank you, Rabesha Yona and the family. I love the teaching.
What time is it over in South Africa?
It's now 10:15. 10:15.
Is that day or night?
Just night.
Nighttime, okay. So it's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad for me. I'm blessed.
All right, great. All praises to our King.
Thanks, Reverend.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, brother. And
thank you, Reverend. Thank you, family.
Oh, you're very welcome. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Shabbat
Thank you.
Shalom. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Shabbat Shalom, brother.
Shabbat Shalom, brother.
Let's see, Sister Shim. Oh, Sister Tamar. Sister Tamar, let's see. Sister Tamar, the mic is yours.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I had no idea it was unmuted.
Shabbat Shalom from Alaska. How's the ice cubes over there?
It's snowing.
Snowing. We're gonna send an ambassador. He's looking at me.
Yes, please do.
All praises. Shabbat Shalom to you. All right.
Thank you. Likewise.
You're welcome. Okay, brethren, we're gonna say we're gonna have Doch Moel close out with prayer. Let's all face towards the Jerusalem in the east, and if you're in south of wherever it is, you face towards the north. If you are in the east, you face towards the west, and such like. All praises to our King.
O righteous and everlasting Elohim, we thank you for this privilege that we could come in your presence once again to offer praise and thanks to your great and holy name. We thank you for your words today. We ask you to bless offering and bless our hearts and draw us closer to thee each time. Touch those that need touching, heal those that need healing, and draw those that need to come to thee. Bless the food and bless our hearts. Make us those who gave and those who did not have to give, that you continue to make a way that they can give offerings in your presence likewise. Because we ask it, Lord, in wonderful name I pray. Amen.
Let the words of our mouth,
the meditation of our
hearts
be acceptable in your sight.
For ye are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Elder Shofar.
Maybe of Danielle a little bit. Yeah, my little niece. You have any strength today? You're hungry.
One love star. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Love star.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.